Yo, welcome to WLVS Radio. You're tuning into the open bar. Salute. What's today's date?
1/16.
1/16.
Oh my goodness.
What's that? You should
Half
play
of
that
the
now.
month is gone.
Right.
Well, my daughter's birthday is the 19th. So.
Oh, the 19th. I thought
Yeah.
you said it was today. I was about to say, oh, you
no,
bad.
not today, but
Oh,
Jesus.
you bad. Well,
Just as bad.
Exactly. It's right here.
shout out to the ladies of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. Happy Founders Day to you ladies. To all
Right.
beautiful, fine sisterhood of
Salute.
Salute.
So you should have knew the date then.
Okay.
You don't know nothing about your sorors.
I've been drinking. No, I'm just joking.
Good answer.
Good answer.
Huh? You've been drinking
Oh.
some watermelon, huh?
Oh. Get him, Jamil. Get him, Jamil. He's already messing up. Yo, so I'm Hot Ron, your neighborhood bartender. I'm sorry I didn't introduce myself. We got PDO is in the building. What's up, PDO?
Peace to the people, man. I'm
He's in a very patriotic shirt.
glad to be here.
Very Donald Trumpish. I love it.
Yeah. I
Got
didn't
his
think about that.
4-5 on.
I didn't think about that. He made me not like my clothes that quick. I was good all day.
Oh, you should,
You should have called him, FaceTimed him this morning.
Right.
Yeah, but no, we're not gonna be that cheap because listen, man, he doesn't get to own the brand
I
of
know, I'm
America.
just
I mean, he's like Confederate flag would be different. Yeah,
yeah, that'd be more him.
yeah,
That'd be
exactly.
more him. We can't give him the American flag.
Absolutely.
What up, Red Berry? The truth is in the building. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm actually fantabulous today.
Yeah, you are. And I'm so happy today because Big Country is not here. Oh my God, I ain't got to worry about all that ashy hands and.
Shout out to
I'm just
Country.
playing. I miss Country. Shout out to Country. I know he's listening.
Shout out Country. What's up?
He's
Sure
out
is
of the
tuned
country,
in.
right? He's in.
Nah, actually, he's in Chicago, Indiana, somewhere.
Ohio.
Ohio? Okay, that's what
Yeah, it's in my home state.
I knew it was somewhere in the Midwest.
One of those places. But anyway, he's out. He won't be here to offend anybody anymore today. So we're kind of happy about that.
He said he's going to call in to make sure he
Make sure
offends
he offends somebody.
you.
He don't own anything. He can't offend me. I'm not easily offended, thank God.
That's a good deal.
I don't get offended. But you know what? I had my annual physical on when was that? On the
Wednesday.
10th.
Yeah.
On the 10th.
Wednesday.
Yeah, and I got all my results back today.
Today?
So, yes. I
Hold on,
was
so you don't like that 3-day waiting period, do you?
especially when you know that you've been kind of on the slutty side, you know. So it was a little.
You know your mama.
Oh, sorry, mama. You know I'm still very.
Hey, listen, I'm trying to tell you,
When
man.
she called, she said, "You are STD free." I was like, "Praise God!"
Look at this. You do all the things God don't want you to do, and then
Right.
you're like,
Then now you
you're
wanna
like,
praise
oh
him,
Lord. Look, the doctor take all this test. You be like, oh Lord.
Oh Lord. I was like, "What are you doing with that? Why you gotta take that test?"
Hey,
You
I
said
tell you this,
before
man.
physical.
These days it's really different. You know what I'm saying? Because you take a physical, and it's like people don't want to take one because it's like
You don't
you're
wanna
in the
find
grocery
out-
store walking around fine, right?
Right.
The doctor could tell you something to mess your whole world
Whole
up.
world
right?
up. Well,
I mean-
she got on me. She told me, first of all, as if I didn't know it, she told me I was fat. Not really, but she didn't use those words. But she did tell me that I gained 24 pounds since
She
my
used
last-
the word.
She
used the
did
word
like the we does. She said, "That's obese."
obese. Exactly. Obese.
No, but she did say I was fat. She did tell me that my cholesterol level was extremely high. So she was going to put me on some medication, but I refused. So I told her, she told me that to come back in 3 months, and I have to lose 15 pounds by the time I come back. That's my phone.
And so that means no more sucking your gut in, and you
No
really
more
gotta
sucking.
lose-
So for 15 months, I got to,
For
3
3
months, I got to make sure I lose weight. Otherwise, I'll be on
That's 5
cholesterol
pounds a
pills.
month. You should be able to do that, right?
Right.
No, easy. No, you could get rid of 15 pounds in like 7 days, depending on how extreme you go. I just don't know about keeping it off. I guess you still have to change your diet.
Well, that's the thing. I have to change my diet because my cholesterol is really high. Also, she told me that my vitamin D level is extremely low. So
Right.
she's put me now. I have to take medication for 12 days for my vitamin D. Come on in here, Queen. Since you late, we gotta put you on what's it on
Don't
blast.
do that to her.
She knew. Oh, she got that Africa. Come on now, show everybody the Gucci. No, welcome, yo. The D was
but
here
you know
today.
what? Is that progress for African American people where everybody can say, I have to change my diet? That's language we didn't use years ago. Change my diet.
Well, because we
Because
did.
at least we're saying it now. We're not really changing the diet.
Well,
but
we
we
wasn't
say it.
going to the doctor before, so we didn't know
That's
we
what I'm
needed to
saying.
change our
So
diet.
it's progress,
Especially
right?
black men. Black men don't go to the doctor.
Definitely not.
And that's a problem. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I just started going every year about maybe 5 years ago. Prior to that, I didn't really go to the doctor, like, you know.
Well, I mean, when you're young, I mean, you skip it, I guess. I actually had a pretty good habit, though, when I was younger, you know. Around my birthday, I would just go. I don't even know where I got that from.
Oh, well,
Probably
For regular physical?
because you know that's how you were raised,
Yeah, I mean, I
and you just kept up the tradition.
I would go, but the thing was, though, when I was younger, it was easy because I never had a problem. I would go in, doctor
be
would
right
do the
back
physical.
out.
He'd be like, man, you 100% you're good. It was only the last couple years that every time I go, it's something.
yeah, after you, when you in your 35 up to the 40, that's when they start finding stuff. We're like, God, what do you want now? It'd be like, good crazy.
It's something else, man. Yeah.
So, but
You
pretty
gotta
much
sleep more. You gotta eat this. You gotta do that. And
But you know what? The older you get, you say you're supposed to sleep more, but more things come up in your life, and you end up sleeping less. You're just not spending it out partying and everything else.
you cannot sleep exactly. You like not enough time.
And
like,
if you have children, you probably worrying and things of that nature. You know.
yeah, I think it's kind of not fair. Man. That's a strange thing about life, man. When you're young, you don't have that sense of how precious time is.
that's
Oh
true.
yeah, that's true.
That's so
That
crazy.
is so
how
true.
you feel like I'm good.
Yeah.
I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll do 3 things the next week extra that I did. You know what I'm saying? I'll
Yeah.
just do it. I'll figure it out.
I didn't run this week, so I'll run 30
Right.
miles next week.
Exactly.
But this is the first time the doctor actually told me you have to exercise, Mr. Austin. You have to exercise and you have to change your diet.
First,
You know.
I'm sure he didn't say exercise. He said exercise.
I told you I've been drinking already.
Okay.
Hey,
So
Sharice.
if you're exercising, you may lose the
Miss
15
Sharice,
pounds.
hey.
But if you exercising, you ain't losing shit.
that depends on what exercising is.
It
Exercising.
depends on what.
Exercising is a lot.
Exercise might just mean getting out moving. huh,
Right. Exercising gets you some.
Just
you know.
moving more. huh?
Exercising don't get you nothing.
Or exercising you can lose weight. 'Cause that could be the way that I was worried about the STDs.
Hey, well, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna get.
No,
I'm
that's
gonna
exercise.
Oh, that's exercise.
Yes.
Oh, I guess you don't get that much, huh?
I'm gonna be trying a diet probably next week. It's called the snake diet. I call it the snake diet. I don't have all the details. But whatever it is, it's just water. It's something you're infusing in this water, a regular water. It's like mineral water. It's an infusement, and you drink just this water for 2 days.
Oh.
Then you re-eat on the 3rd day, and then 2 more days you're on it. And if you stay with this process, you're supposed to lose like in a week, like something like 10 pounds. And
Ooh. Well, I need to lose 15 pounds in 3 months, but
easy.
I really want to lose 25 pounds to be where I want. 'Cause last year, like I said,
Me too.
since my physical last year, I gained 24 pounds. So I'm sure other people.
Well, this is the thing, man. Guys normally don't talk about their weight and all that stuff. Don't even care. But it's real because of you know what I'm saying? Because really, when they start saying that you're obese and stuff like that, it's really about your health.
Right.
It's more
Because
about your
as
health.
you're older, your
Yeah, it's more
organs
about your health.
are challenged, man. You know what I'm saying? To your heart, your lungs, everything's challenged with carrying that weight around.
But
you know?
you start
Yeah,
talking
'cause-
about you start talking about your weight when you over 40 though. You start
Not necessarily, because
I think so.
No, men didn't.
As a matter of fact,
Men didn't used to talk about their weight.
They didn't care, yeah.
The more money that they had, the
damn
less
it,
they
man.
cared.
You just look sexy anyways. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Look at Jamel face. He's like, he want to get in. Your segment is in another 15 minutes.
Hey, look at this though. Somebody asked me about a prostate. It's like you should be going to get your prostate checked and whatnot. And
You
I'm
should
like,
be.
You should.
No,
After
but I heard that-
35.
huh?
After 35.
It used to be 40, right?
35.
But they moved it back now.
Yeah.
Like you only go to 45 now.
Well,
'cause it's like
Unfortunately, I had to start when I was like in my late 30s because my father was
so you were like
he
predisposed.
wasn't diagnosed, but they found polyps. So since
you were
then,
predisposed.
right? So we have to get checked pretty.
But they don't
early,
do it the
so.
old-fashioned way anymore. I heard.
It's not as bad as people say it used to be. It's pretty easy. I mean, unfortunately, you
It
can't
got
eat.
easier for you over the years.
No, I'm just saying. What I'm saying is when people say you're really infatuated, Jamel, you really gotta talk to him. So anyway, what I'm saying is like only the hard part is the fasting before it. You know what I'm saying? You gotta drink. Yeah, because you gotta.
Well, yeah, but before any
I
you don't
mean,
think that's the
most
hard procedures and stuff like
no.
that.
Huh?
No, because if you go,
Well, that's what I did. Oh no, not okay. Yeah, that's the wrong one.
Okay, right.
That's what I'm about to say. What are you doing?
Well, I couldn't eat for 12 hours before my physical.
Wait,
So
wait.
and then
Well,
I just drank
I
everything.
hope you slept 6 of those 12 hours.
Yeah. We talking about a
That
physical.
was just a regular.
Just a regular annual physical. Well,
Nah,
my
he got
regular-
the full blown
usually that's
physical.
like
I did get the
blood work or
full. I
something
got
like that.
everything.
Right.
I got everything done. So make sure everything. Only like I said, only thing problem was you missed it was my cholesterol, and my vitamin D level.
No, the only problem
Vitamin
was
D, they say that for African Americans, usually that's one of the ones that they always catch. Vitamin D.
Well, yeah, she said mine is extremely low.
but they said you can get it by getting out in the sun every day.
That's
like,
what she said, but
we
she said
can't be
we
trying to
don't.
stay in the air conditioning. We
And
don't.
there are also vitamin D.
we don't be
vitamins.
in the heat for nothing no more.
We don't do it. We don't do it.
If you wasn't raised in the country, you ain't out there in that heat.
Oh, so the goddess is in the building. How are you?
Welcome.
Goddess, no, just public servant.
Public service.
Ah.
Public servant.
I
Yeah.
like it.
Commissioner.
I like it.
Can we call you the commissioner?
You can call me the commissioner.
The commissioner.
Yes, that's
Oh.
perfectly all right with me.
Wow. So Martin Luther King birthday was this weekend.
It
Not
was.
birthday, but
out.
celebration was this weekend.
Shout out to
So
MLK.
and the
His
parade was
birthday was
awesome.
actually yesterday.
Yeah.
It was just the parade was awesome. I went. I
You
didn't
did?
stay long. I ain't gonna lie, but I did
It
go.
was cold, right?
It wasn't that cold to me. I wasn't like freezing. I wasn't like.
cold, sir.
Well, I just want to give a shout out to everybody that organized to put this together. Stuart Anderson, who
Yeah.
we had to have on the show.
Shout out
last week.
Stuart.
Stuart is a natural.
He got bring him back. He was hilarious.
The
great.
Washington Informer has played a significant role every year. Denise Rolock Barnes, some of the new candidates, Dion Bussey Reader. Dion is running for the independent seat for city council at large. Wendy Glenn, Wendy Glenn was my forecaster because I'm just getting out of bed rest from dealing with the flu. Yeah,
She was pretty bad.
It was bad. I've been on bed rest since about Wednesday.
Took you out, huh?
It took me out, and every time I thought I had some energy, it was like, nope,
No, you don't.
sit back down. Yeah,
You know what? That's normally how I lose.
Your ass back
Hey.
down.
sit
That's
down.
normally how I lose my weight. I just didn't
Yeah.
catch the flu this
Catch-
time before I went to the
don't
doctor.
catch
This
the
time-
flu. I don't wish that on anyone.
No,
What's
man,
up,
it's
Dave?
been,
Thought I
it's been
catch the
going
flu
on.
And then
year
every
and I lose
doctor
weight.
say it just has to run its course.
Yes, for like 10,
Yeah.
14
It has
days,
to
something
run-
like that.
It was
First of
about
all, it's
6
either you-
days for me.
You either
6.
catch the weight or you get heartbroken. One of the two, and you lose weight.
Yeah, I love her.
Hey,
Unfortunately, and I do lose
I've been
weight.
noticing a lot of women though catching the flu more than I know. I haven't heard a lot
I've
of
noticed
guys
Even
who
with
got the flu.
even with the flu shot, they're saying that the vaccine, for whatever that is,
It's a
just
strand,
It's
it's not-
it's a strand. It's not really a significant dose, so it's pointless, but not pointless. It's
I guess.
experimental.
Yeah, I don't know about that flu shot.
I'm never taking
I
it.
took the flu shot this
I
year,
got it this
but
year.
you know what I
You
will
still got the
say?
flu?
I will say this, right?
Man, that's
I have
interesting.
had the flu before that has been significantly worse
Okay.
than the flu that I
So
had.
that's probably why
So-
you also
so-
recovered in 6 days or 7
but
days.
it's ironic to say that if I had to have the flu, as much as I didn't have the energy, I was dizzy and couldn't really stand and walk. It wasn't as bad as the extremely long, about 7 days of high fevers I've had before.
Okay,
So it wasn't that bad.
all right.
And I was fortunate enough to be able to stay in the house for the last 2 weeks, so I didn't get sick like everybody else. I got sick like maybe 2
You
days.
were fortunate, like how?
Yeah,
what
because
they put
everybody I
you-
know has been like really sick. Like
Before your birthday,
extremely-
Yeah.
oh my God, yeah.
So I stayed in the house. I didn't go anywhere for like 2 days. I felt myself. I was good in 2 days. So I gave
Good
it a
for
little
you.
cold.
I'm jealous.
And
Yeah,
I think
it tried to get me for a minute too.
I remember.
Yeah, it tried to get me for a minute. Yeah,
And why are we such babies when we get sick? You know.
And you might take care of you.
because honestly, it wears you out, man. It's
It
just a
does.
different thing when you shut down, when
It
you're like
does.
down, like
Right.
can't get up off the mat.
I think it's also too the dizziness of it. The energy level is completely low. I mean, I barely got from my bedroom to the bathroom.
Yeah,
Did you have anybody help you? You didn't have a maid
I had
service or-
maid services. Yes, I want shout out. Thank you for the support and the maid services that brought food and
my goodness.
soup and tea.
the love.
No, I'm
And
grateful.
Ivy ain't gonna let you go without.
You know, my mom was actually sick too.
She was.
Yeah, she had to go to the hospital. So it's
Wow.
been, they told me to avoid human contact. So I have
Avoid
been
human
avoiding
contact.
human contact.
Nah, I get that. Because that's what I be like. I don't understand why people be sick and they still be coming around.
Well, they said people
Hugging
with,
on
with,
you and
with
all, you know what I'm
not
saying?
so strong immune systems could actually die from the flu.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm saying if you're sick, it's like it's just right to stay away from people.
Right. Why people come to work
Yeah, why
sick?
would
I
you
hate
come-
that. I have this one lady.
They ain't had no
Hug your
sick
pastor.
days
Go to
left.
church sick. Well, you come to church sick because you want to get prayer. You know what I'm saying? It's the place to get prayer.
Amen.
You gotta send that through the airwaves.
But I personally get married. Like I have this one lady at my job. She coughed and everything. One day I just told her, I just went to her, I just sprayed her with Lysol. I was like, I can't do it. And you just
Exactly. Why do you do that? Don't bring that
like
in.
that's him. That you just
Because it'll take you out for a whole week. I do
Wow.
want to say something else about Martin Luther King, though.
Go ahead.
It really
Yeah,
bothered me.
It
Ooh, I got a few things.
The fact
Let's
that he's
go.
an alpha and not a sigma, that always get me too.
Wait a
Oh,
minute. No, that wasn't it.
A couple of things. I mean, one of the things is I heard, like, I want to say somebody actually had John Lewis talking, right? Mm-hmm. And they were exaggerating. Here's what they were saying. They were saying if Martin Luther King was alive today, Donald Trump wouldn't be president.
I heard that too, but I don't see.
The relevance?
I don't understand that. I don't understand why exaggerate. I mean, like Martin Luther King is a great man. You don't have to exaggerate anything about
Right.
who he was. You know, he gave us that don't quit mentality and do it in style. You know what I'm saying? Like hold your head up, nonviolent, in the right way. To say he would stop Trump, that he would have this influence and he would do this. Martin Luther King had stuff in his closet, right? And I'm not trying to denigrate him. I'm just saying that in a social media age, you know what I'm saying?
Would have been a problem.
How would he
would
even
be a part of the Me
operating?
Too
You're
movement.
not factoring into necessarily to say Trump wouldn't be president is just to me to sit back and try to overdo it with praising Martin Luther King. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he would even want that.
And so, and don't you think Martin Luther King pretty much stood for everybody, black,
He's
white,
for the whole.
and
He was for
so
the whole. You know what I'm
he
saying?
wouldn't have,
Right, exactly. That
I
was the
saw
one thing
a
that bothered
post
me.
from his daughter Bernice on Twitter where she said that if we're going to celebrate her father, you cannot forget to celebrate Coretta, who was the backbone of the movement. And because of her, largely in
Interesting
part,
thought.
because of her, and this is from Dr. King's daughter Bernice. So again, I don't know the dynamics of all of those intertwining family relationships, but this came from the death of Bernice King.
Right.
That you had to celebrate Coretta
I
Scott
could see
King
her wanting her mom
for
remember. I mean, I
She
get
is
that.
remembered though. I
But
mean,
Coretta's already celebrated,
she's
right?
in
We celebrate her. We
she-
love her.
Yeah, she's in every
Not
history
like-
book.
We don't show the love like Martin, no, but
No, we give Coretta, and you may get mad at me for saying this, Pastor, but we give Coretta the respect we give Mary, I think, for having Jesus. In that sort of level. You know
I
what I'm
see.
saying?
Well,
What you mean?
I feel she's like a black
Right.
mother to everybody, right? She's like
Right.
a black, you know, like
Jamil, what do you laugh?
we love Coretta Scott King.
So the thing about the elephant in the room about the infidelity that was a part of the
See, now we
reality.
getting
Which
it.
is
We haven't had our
What?
drinks yet. We get all juicy
so
and
there
gossip.
is those are the rumors that could be reality, could be false, which a lot of them lead toward reality.
Which back at that time, your brothers could help you. They could cover for you. You know what I'm saying? People could kind
Well-
of keep it together. With social media, it's no safe
Yes,
place.
'cause this is-
Well,
you know, 'cause
let's
all-
not- so-
well, it's because of the dollar now, the power of the dollar. Somebody's always going to let the cat out the bag.
That's what I'm saying. It's
Somebody's
just different
gonna
now.
be
But to
mad
talk
'cause they
about
ain't
the
getting their share fair.
humanity of a
Fair share.
person does not diminish
Honestly, right.
the humility and the
human
and,
Or their
and what they
impact.
and their impact to
Right.
I'm
society,
with
their
you.
contribution.
I mean,
right?
people are human.
I'm with you on
You know
that.
what I'm saying?
And
you know,
he was a human being
Right.
who was under significant pressure. He was a very young man.
And he
We're
was
talking
young,
about a
and
very.
this is what I'm saying.
He,
He
was
wasn't
a
like no-
kid himself that had extreme focus on what he was trying to accomplish. Extremely passionate.
He was smarter than
And-
everybody in the room. I get it. Yeah.
I don't know if he was the smartest person in the room. You know who played Common? I want to give a shout out to Jahar Abraham and Ronald Moten because I was able to be mentored by Reverend Bevel. And I didn't, Reverend Bevel was a personal mentor of mine at a lot of different training functions, and I sat front row at a lot of his programs. And he was a direct confidant to Dr. Martin Luther King. And I didn't realize, and he would tell us these stories, but I didn't realize how close he was to Dr. King until Common played
Him in the
Reverend Bevel
Oh,
in the
wow.
movie Selma.
Right.
And so shout out to Common for taking on that role.
Bringing that to life.
Because he was in the movie, he depicted Reverend Bevel as the right hand man. I mean, Common, it was Dr.
I mean, it had
King
to
and it
come
was
from
Common.
somebody, though, so.
Well, I get that. I mean, I feel like
So
I feel
for
like
somebody
Martin,
to retell the story almost exactly how he would personally tell us this story, was extremely beyond impactful to me.
Sure.
Right.
Because I still have models that Reverend Bevel talked about as far as families and building institutions and building communities and completion. And I mean, I have this model that was so unique that I've never seen it anywhere before outside of Reverend Bevel bringing that to our community.
And you know what? And speaking of Congressman John Lewis, he has a great. And it's funny. I know y'all gonna laugh. It's an actual comic strip book that really details the whole civil rights
movement at the time,
and it's amazing. I'm telling you,
it's
animation. It's
Mm-hmm.
animation from begin all the way. His whole.
I definitely would like to see that.
I have it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you. I have both copies.
Okay.
1 and 2. So I'll bring it and let you read it. But that's a good thing
Did you
for
buy them or you
children.
bootlegging it?
I bought it because I wanted to support him. And he's my
I
friend.
definitely like to see
I
that.
just wanted to make sure.
But here's my
And
last
actually,
thing.
I organized his last book signing for the last one. It was
So
at
he
Georgetown.
gave you.
He didn't give it to I purchased it, but I organized his book signing. So,
You did?
Yes.
Okay, that's what's up, man. Big moves. The other thing I want to say about Martin Luther King was what I thought was very interesting was how Donald Trump and them, signed that Friday before his birthday, this Friday past.
Mm-hmm.
They signed some declaration.
He tried like he was the.
I don't know what the declaration was, but here's the thing that threw me off was
He tried like.
one of Dr. King's nephews was standing there next to Trump.
I think that was his son.
That was his nephew.
Well, wait, this past Friday.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah,
That was his nephew. And then his son was on CNN. And what throws me about them is they come out of the woodwork, out of the blue sky every year around his birthday. But the rest of the year, I don't hear them doing anything.
Well, because the media is not following him. Then.
Well,
You know
and
what I'm
two,
saying?
they may not
So
necessarily
are they
be
doing
father.
anything?
They may not be though. But does that mean? But
do they have to do what their father did? You know.
Nah, they don't
exactly,
have to.
right?
Well, but my thing is, why you come to speak on it then every year? Why do you pop out of the woodwork all
Well-
of a sudden?
Because
they ask
their father. They asked him there.
They're asking them to be there.
Right.
You know.
Like, okay, so
I mean,
rather stay invisible all year than fuck up once.
Right.
So two parts about that.
Maybe they would.
okay.
That's
So
a good
okay, so
point.
look at okay, so Donny Hathaway was great, right? So people always still celebrate Donny Hathaway. He's like one of the best, right? I think they got past bringing Layla out, talking to her about her father. It's like they did one little interview or like a documentary or something like that. It's over. So
But that, another thing. But
Well,
Layla's
they'll just talk about Donnie. They'll sing songs. and stuff like that.
Layla became just as much of a star as her father. If you really
No,
look
no,
at it.
Nah, no way
I
near.
mean,
she's a star, but
her father is like
she's
iconic.
like
Iconic.
C
I
though.
think-
Voice
She's
is
like
iconic.
She's like a
Layla-
C-list
I think
celebrity.
Layla,
Exactly.
she's becoming iconic.
But I'm saying,
I
you know
think
what I'm saying?
it's going to take her to die to be.
So the Dr. King story is because they were actually a part of the movement. So the difference is that they may not be as politically active, they may not be
Right.
as politically inclined, but you have to realize that they weren't babies. They experienced the movement. In some cases, they were victims of the movement.
Well, I
so
get that.
I mean,
so
that
it's
But the
not
nephew,
just-
I never
Their
seen
house
before.
was
Why is he
blown
sitting next to
up.
Trump on that? Like, he's the only one that agreed to come because Bernie and the rest of them was not going to come to the White House to stand
So
next
a
to Donald Trump.
combination of things, right? If they don't show up, then that's a part of history that we somehow
That's
are
true.
deprived of, right? As much as there's this question of
I
where'd you come from, there's a question of like, are you just here for the limelight? And that could very well be so because there's a lot of people that showed up to the march, that we have just to be a part of the limelight.
Right.
True.
No agenda, no focus, just there to get a good photo
That's true.
and say I was there.
Okay, right. Well,
So if I got the name King and I'm a part of the name King, and if that is your, and not to say that it is or isn't, but if
I
that's
just
your
feel like it's
intent,
been-
I ain't gonna lie. I'll
It's
be
been
wearing.
50 years,
I'll be
right?
wearing t-shirts saying Martin King is my blood uncle.
but who they come down on like that, saying Frederick Douglass was their ancestor? That was
Umar Johnson.
Umar Johnson. Now
But
he
proved it.
clarified
He
that.
clarified how he
and-
was though.
And
No, no.
he
He
also
did clarify.
he also kind of not discriminated, but he also kind of
He said he did. He said he got a problem with him because he married the white woman.
Yeah, he had a problem with Frederick Douglass about the
he was
white
trying
woman.
to break it down. He was
He
trying,
tried, no, he tried to smooth. He tried to smooth it over.
He
Right.
did.
And then now he changed it. He clarified. He said, "I am not an." He said, "I'm not a descendant of Frederick Douglass. I'm an ancestor." He said, "I always said he was my ancestor. He's my ancestor, I'm not a descendant."
But shout out to
He-
Umar Johnson for his contribution. My point is that we all have a role to play, even the people that just show up for the limelight.
Right.
True that.
Is that we all
guess-
have a role to play, because guess what? You could be showing up at the strip club.
Well, I mean, I get that. Here's my thing.
They
Here's my
got a
thing.
part to play too.
I'm not saying that they
Strippers
don't, but
definitely
my
have a
point
part.
is,
Speaking
my
of which,
point
the
is,
Lord is my
is
shepherd. He
that
know what I
Right.
want.
is my point is to say that that as much as there's question mark around the whether or not it's a genuine or sincere
Okay,
kinds
so
of.
this is my question. My thing is that, first of out of all these 50 years, right? I've seen his son, Martin. I've seen his son, Dexter, and different sons, a couple of old sons. This nephew I've never seen before. I never even heard about a nephew that was relevant. I mean, who's your parent?
The nephew now has something to say.
The nephew shows up next to Donald Trump.
Right.
Well, he's the only one that will agree to even be there. They just call him and Ben the doctor.
Ben Carson.
Ben Carson. They
And
like,
the
Oh,
"These some
and
black
did
people
you
up
see
here."
how he came because he said he don't agree
But
with
Ben
his
Carson
speech?
is actually a brilliant
When he said-
neurology.
when
But
Ben
that
Carson-
doesn't mean he's a great speaker.
Oh,
or-
hold on.
he
Listen,
did a
but-
good job this last
he's a
time. When he
brilliant
said-
man. Now
when he
having him
said-
in the HUD division is
No,
inaccurate.
no,
That is-
Ben Carson is a brilliant doctor, but we have revoked his card. He has messed up.
you can revoke
We
the
love
part
Ben
on
Carson.
the political front. You
And
can,
thank God
you
his
can
wife
revoke,
stopped trying to sing "Lift Our Voices."
You
Ooh, that
can
woman can't
disagree with
sing.
his policies. You
And
can
she can't.
disagree with his
We
politics,
just shouldn't.
right? And you can disagree with the fact that he's been put in position to be. One,
he
he
was a
got put in that
brain surgeon.
position as to be set up. He was set
Right.
up to put it. He was put in that position just to give him a position. Boom. Let me get you. Let me get you in a position,
And
right?
then so HUD, so anybody don't get anything,
Right.
you go blame the black man.
But you know, but
and
real,
that's a
real
part
quick,
of another reality that we
real
have.
quick before we have to move on to our commercial and our drink of the day and our hot topics. I want to say
You ready for it to go downhill?
Yes, the show got no. I'm just joking. But this statement probably gonna make it go down here a little bit. If you notice the people that doing MLK weekend, so they do these flyers and they have like. It's Martin Luther King birthday turn up. They have Martin Luther King here, then women
Yeah,
with butts
that's-
out or
yeah.
men with their penises
We gotta
out.
stop that. We
On
have
the
to stop
flyer,
that.
I was like, okay, I can't make that.
Oh,
event.
hold on.
I'm sorry.
That's what the nephew said. When the nephew got on the mic at the White House, he was like, this is not a day for barbecuing and picnicking.
No,
He
it's
was
a day
saying,
of service.
exactly. I was like, why are you taking a shot at the community? Like I know we barbecue around the holiday and everything.
He has a point,
But it was
though.
like, just talk about service. That's all you have to do.
Yeah, that's
Why
all you
take a shot at
had
us?
to do it.
I mean, but why does
You
it have to be?
felt
Why
you
does it
were
have to be a
personally
day of
offended
service?
by the nephew. So let's get back to the real part of this.
As
Let's,
she was,
let's
I'm
get
just-
back
I'm
to
just-
the reality,
I'm just saying
as she
Pastor.
was putting that hot dog on the
Pastor
grill.
was
he
personally
mad.
offended
I
by
mean,
by
First of
nephew.
all, I've never seen him before.
What
He
is the
shows up
nephew's
next to
name?
Donald
Can we
Trump.
get the nephew's
We're gonna
name?
get a nephew on this
What is
show,
the
and we're
nephew's
gonna let
name?
y'all have
His
an
name
all-out.
is-
You have hit a personal spot.
And then he starts talking about
Pastor.
it's not supposed to be cooking out and
So
barbecuing.
you were
and,
cooking out and
He's like, stop all
barbecuing.
that black stuff. I was like, yo.
So Pastor, so let's get to the bottom of this. You were offended by the nephew's comments and the fact that you did not know him.
And were you offended by the flyers with the Martin Luther King and the booties and
The fact that
Yes.
you didn't know him
What?
was a deeper level of
Isaac
offense.
Ferris.
It's
That's
the
the name. He
nephew.
didn't even
Because-
Ferris. He didn't even have a
He
king
didn't have a
nowhere
King
in his
name.
name.
Does he look like King or something?
Nope,
How you get
not
up
really.
there? How we know he
So-
real? He probably was like the lady up there faking.
So he was
that
a nephew
sign-
through
that
marriage.
highlight.
He was
No.
the nephew came in through marriage of the
He
King
probably was
family.
like the lady up there faking.
Or-
that
Well,
sign.
no, one of
And
the
his main
sisters.
statement.
One
His
of
mother
one
could
of
have
one of
been
the sisters.
directly
And
connected.
One
what
of
the,
the-
can we get his
one of the
name?
daughters.
Can we get a
Isaac
name?
Ferris.
Well, what?
Is he? He's not a king.
No, he's not
Oh,
a king.
so
So
you
now-
are offended by Mr. Ferris. Let's
he
get down to the reality of it.
Here's my thing. I didn't like the fact that like the son was on CNN, and it was almost like I know him and Bernice and them will refuse to go to the White House. I know they weren't going to do that. But they
Bernice
showed
had a
up on-
tweet.
They showed up on CNN, and to me.
But
See,
what's
the thing is, I love Bernice in the sense that Bernice, she always has something to say. She tries to be deeper than she needs to be.
But I
sometimes.
think last year the son was at the White House.
But
though.
see, but Bernice doesn't. But Bernice doesn't try out on all these stages around the birthday. She's just the daughter. You know what
No,
I'm saying?
well, but they didn't go to the White House because of Trump. Of course, they were there last year. Obama was there.
No. Last year Trump was inaugurated. It's been a
No,
year.
He
Yeah.
was he the president?
Yeah,
Yeah,
last year.
I guess he was. Yeah.
That's
This
when
is
that's
the
when the
second
big
year now.
No, he was not.
He was not
Because
the
it was
president
until the
last year
20th.
at this time.
This
He
time.
was the 20th.
He was the
I'm
20th.
telling
He
you,
didn't become
it-
president
last
until the 20th.
year at this time,
Inauguration was
look
the
it
20th.
Look it up on your look it
Trust
up on your
me,
internet.
look it up.
Yeah.
It was on
but
the
I'm
20th.
letting you know
Obama
that
was still in office during
Yeah,
Martin
No,
Luther King.
no,
president.
officially he was, but he was fading off though.
Yeah,
But
but
there was
but
a press
they were
conference
transitioning.
with Trump and one of the King's sons. I remember vividly.
Oh.
That could have
seeing
been
that.
the way
I thought
transition,
that
they
the
were
King
transition.
thing was Obama's
transition.
last event in the White House, if I'm not
Look it up.
mistaken.
It's
It might
on
have
your
been.
lip-
And actually, we're looking at it wrong. It's not one of the children.
It was
kid.
one of King's children.
Sisters. No, it's one of King's
Oh, Ferris.
sisters.
Ferris.
It's Christine King.
King Ferris.
That's the
Oh.
sister.
She got
I'm
married too
talking
soon.
about last year,
Yeah.
this time.
You talking about last year?
That was
no, we're
that was
talking
Trump
about
in a photo
Right.
next to because he was
Isaac's
bad.
mom.
The internet bashed him. I I remember this
He might have
internet
been there.
bashment.
He might have been.
I can't remember the exact
Well,
date, but it was
everybody
around the
know
birthday. It was around the birthday, and he was there, and everybody was trying to figure out
Why? But you know what? Anybody
Trump
who's
Towers. At the Trump, it was at the Trump Towers.
anybody who's black who takes a meeting with Trump, unfortunately, it get messed up for them. Steve
Yes.
Harvey.
But see, it wasn't that they
Yes.
met with him. Here's why I want to be clear, right? It wasn't the meeting with Trump. It was the remarks after meeting with Trump. That's where Steve Harvey lost me.
Yep.
Steve Harvey lost me, and
No,
I have
just
a
before you can get to
significant-
that, before the comments, just the photo op. The fact that Trump wanted to roll you out there.
Well, he said he didn't know. He said he didn't know. He thought he was leaving.
You know, I'm like, all right, we had our meeting. I'm going out the side.
and then he
door.
get up there and say he seemed to be a genuine
But
person. I was like,
so
don't
those
say
are
that.
the
But what are you going to say when
And
you
his
get the mic?
lips was
You
chapped.
you just
No comment.
There you
No
go.
comment is significant. It's sufficient.
It's right.
No comment.
I'll be like, no
Not
comment.
only did he make a comment, he made this historically long Instagram post about how wonderful Donald Trump was
Hey.
and how much
And that's
he was
why,
going to do for
even
Chicago.
though Michael Basin get on my nerves, I love the fact he's holding his ground. Steve Harvey, you a joke. Now,
Hey, listen. Now I agree. And I was
Obama
going to
was
say,
in office.
and I was
but
getting ready
it
to
was
say,
the meeting at the Trump Towers.
and I was getting ready to
All
say that at least black people are consistent.
right.
It's hard for them to cut somebody
Come
off
back,
their
yeah.
community. They will not cut. We will forgive you, give you another take. Because Steve Harvey, they was mad, but they got over.
Yeah,
it.
they got him back.
They done let him back. Family
But
Feud.
think about, no,
they
but no,
let
no,
him
no,
back
no,
in, man.
Think about it like this.
We only
Steve
get mad
Harvey
for a
is
quick
brilliant-
minute.
That's what I'm
Steve
saying. We
Harvey-
don't know how to really cast you out. Like
Steve
like
Harvey
R.
is
Kelly-
a brilliant
R. Kelly back.
entertainer,
We-
philanthropist.
R. Kelly been back.
Right? It's not that. So here's the thing,
We
right?
will not
It's
cut people
that
off,
we're-
man.
You gotta acknowledge the brilliance of a person before you acknowledge the questionable.
You know what? I hear what you say. You
kind
called
of-
him brilliant. I think Steve Harvey have great people around him. He seemed to hire the right people. And I
Before he
think,
could hire people, he had a hustle. He had a grind.
Yeah, he had a-
but
Steve
nobody
Harvey
took
was
that. Nobody took that from him. We're
Right.
talking about to
So
take
you-
your platform
Right.
that we gave you, to take your platform and then to go and stamp Trump. See, my thing is, you
Right, the
like you said, you
stamping
didn't
was
have
where
to do
you
that.
lost me.
You could
You did
have
not.
said, I met with them for this reason, X, Y, Z, and
Yes.
that's all I have to
And
say.
Chris said Michelle poor thing. We're gonna keep her in prayer. We're gonna
Nah,
do
nah.
the Drake
We
for
talk
her.
about-
Now,
Now,
if you don't have enough clout,
You
with
don't
us,
have enough-
yo,
you can't do that.
We're not gonna love you that much,
You
right?
guys, we gotta go to a
Who else?
song.
You
We
know
didn't
what?
love her
Kanye-
before.
We
What are we
didn't
talking
love
about?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Kanye is another
Well,
prime
everybody know
example.
Kanye is crazy
No,
though.
no,
So
Kanye is in a sunken place. Okay, did you guys saw Get Out?
yeah,
We definitely saw Get Out.
Kanye is in a sunken place.
You think Kim did it?
No,
you think they hitting that?
think
I'm
the
scared of a cup
combination
ever
of
since I
things-
watched that movie. I cannot drink a teacup. I'm sorry.
I still haven't watched the movie.
But
Oh,
I
it's
think
crazy.
ever
Yeah, it's a great
since-
movie.
Ever since I think his mom passed, it just kind of went downhill.
Went downhill, yeah.
But he still it still doesn't
That's
take
a
away
long
from
hill.
his,
He been going down for a
That's
long
a
time.
long hill.
I mean, his mom died back in.
I'm falling. I'm falling.
At least like 7-8 years ago, right?
but it
Yeah.
still doesn't take away from his brilliance. Let's be
But
honest.
we don't do that. That's why.
We don't
Look,
do
R.
that,
Kelly.
yeah.
R. Kelly has
It's
sold
brilliant.
the most R&B albums of anybody ever,
And
and he is the king.
And he married that.
And even though people
that
wanna-
nice body girl.
Yep, and even though
you don't remember his wife.
They're divorced.
They're divorced, but
okay.
his
You
wife
talk
is
about-
from.
Was married.
They don't think that his
and
wife is beautiful. I
no,
think
no,
she's
no,
beautiful.
no.
I met her in person.
she's a butterface.
she's Butterface.
She might be, not in person. In person, she's put together. Y'all got to see her in person.
Listen, maybe the person that I tell
The
you what,
woman is gorgeous.
With or
personality-
without makeup. You like a lot of makeup. So.
I do. I enjoy a good wig and a lace front. But I'm just saying. But I think that. But you got to see R. Kelly's ex-wife in person before y'all make these things. This woman is
All I'm
gorgeous.
saying-
Your
Can we get a
personality,
picture of R.
everything.
Kelly's ex-wife on
Sure.
the?
We
on
do
the-
it.
on the.
But
We do it
what
all
I'm
the
saying
time.
is that
No, play the twerking video.
No,
We're not playing the video.
R. Kelly
we're
is
not playing
so
a twerk video.
We done.
he's so loved, man. That even
I know. Oh, we gotta go, y'all. I'm sorry.
that
Dave
even
is
even
choking
with
me.
yeah, we got to jump into our hot times.
Yeah, go,
Even
man.
though with all that he's done, man,
we still love
he's
him.
still the king of R&B.
And we can't.
'Cause
Why
you can't-
Bill
you know what?
Cosby
'Cause you can't deny, like
why
Teresa
Bill
was just
Cosby
saying.
can't get back though?
Because Bill
So-
Cosby ain't got nothing coming out right now, and
What?
people
No,
still
see,
support
we
Bill.
Like
have
Teresa
not
was
talked
saying-
about Bill Cosby. I really want to touch on something about
We
Bill
did,
Cosby.
but you wasn't here yet.
Well,
Sorry.
I want to. Was that today? You talking about?
No,
Bill
No,
Cosby?
we
Terrible.
we went over here
You
before.
guys were missing me before. That was the
Extensively.
problem.
Right.
But Bill Cosby was trying to own a major network.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
be clear
And they
about
came
this.
down
right?
on him. See,
Like,
they
he
can't catch
wasn't-
Oprah.
Like Oprah tried that, which is the reason why she went and created her own network because
Oh, I
of
never
that was
thought of that.
that would have been some sort of backlash. She
See,
probably
look at R. Kelly's. That's not a good picture of her, though.
Yeah,
No.
probably she
Butterface.
no comment.
That wasn't a good picture, but that
No
woman is
comment.
gorgeous in person.
Hey,
I'm gonna have her on the show.
Hey,
Y'all
but
gonna
no,
take it
Oprah,
back.
Oprah, only reason Oprah didn't try to do it because she watched what they did to Bill.
Right.
Well, before that
She watched
happened to
her.
Bill, she had owned before the Bill incident.
Oh no,
happened.
Before, no, when he was trying to do NBC, Oprah knew
Back
about
then.
that stuff.
Oprah backdog. Then they was gonna go into her whole relationship with
But-
Gail,
but-
and
but
she ain't want that out there
you
yet.
guys
So
hear
She's
Oprah's
like,
speech?
yeah,
Did you guys hear Oprah's speech though?
we did. We talked about that last
And
week
she
too.
commented on a
overrated.
social media post on Instagram about how her not speaking up then was the fear of facing the same backlash
wow.
that women are experiencing today.
Wow.
So it wasn't that this is a new
Oprah can kill that. Oprah's thing was money.
Right.
Oprah was watching the money.
So
And
you
she
can.
ain't
That's
want,
a
and
perspective.
she ain't want her business put out there.
Oprah
That's
has
a
been so.
perspective.
It's no
Look,
way.
did he put the picture on me? That's
Somebody's.
Now, that's a pretty picture of her. And,
Leave that right
And
there.
that's
Leave that right there.
cake make.
and her body.
And it's
Her
still
body
and
is
it's
tight.
still a rough
You
shot with
have-
all that
you
makeup.
can give a perspective on that, right? But I listened to that speech 30 times.
Right.
And I can tell you for a fact. And I don't
Jeez, you
even-
was really late in the bed. You
Right.
couldn't do
You was
nothing.
low,
Man.
you did nothing.
She couldn't go nowhere.
She's on your
Did
back.
you do any work?
Listen.
I'm gonna let you wrap it up. Then we gotta go
When
to
I
a
tell
song.
you, and I tell you that Oprah's speech really hit home for me because she's speaking from a woman who was one of the only women in a position of power that had a public notoriety, where anyone in that position could have completely shattered her reputation, her image,
Right.
the level of respect that she had in
Who?
a public. Oprah Winfrey.
When? Where?
During her time of not
during-
being
while
able,
she was-
while
before
she was
she doing
building
that.
her career, while she's
They could have
while
got
she
her like
was
they got Bill
becoming Oprah.
Cosby. But you
This
know,
is what I'm saying. Oprah played it safe and protected her trending up
Exactly.
and protected
And
her
that
money.
was- and that's what she commented. She said
and whether
women are
and,
doing
and,
what
and I
they
think
have
it's a
to
good.
do.
I think it's a fair question to say, did she do enough? Did she put enough on the line? Because she just ascended.
No, that's a false narrative.
So you
What's
guys,
false narrative?
No,
you
Oprah
guys,
put a
y'all
lot
can we can
What-
we
oh,
can argue
we
about
gotta-
this
we-
all the
I did,
time, but we
yeah.
do gotta go.
Yeah.
But you know what? Y'all can keep that conversation going on our open bar live
Chat.
chat line on Facebook. Give us a call at 202-656-1BOB. We'll be right back with hot topics and our drink of the day. And our guest.
Salute.
Listen vision, listen vision, listen vision, listen vision. DC's #1 recording studio. Listen vision, listen vision, listen vision.
Yo, welcome back to WLVS Radio. You tune into the open bar.
Salud.
Salute. Now we come to my favorite part of the show. Not that I'm alcoholic or anything, you know what I'm saying?
Sure, you're right.
Even though I need to be watching my cholesterol, I don't think I should be drinking this drink.
No, alcohol doesn't mess with cholesterol.
It doesn't?
No.
I got to look that up. So anyway.
So we did get a comment on Facebook Live. Was drink garlic water.
Oh, for the cholesterol?
Yes.
Oh, well, that's what this is. It's garlic water. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, our drink of the day is nothing but the classic gin and tonic made with a splash of lime juice. Definitely a great drink. Our choice of Tanqueray gin with tonic. Definitely a great smooth men's gentleman's drink. Is it strong for y'all? Too strong?
Salud.
Salud. And our salute movement, of course, goes to Martin Luther King.
All right.
Drink? Would that be?
Cheers to Dr. King and may the legacy continue beyond his birthday.
Wow. You know, I learned a really great toast this weekend, so I can't say that after we talk about Martin Luther King.
Why not? It goes downhill from here, right?
The show does go downhill after we take a swallow. Yo, we have a great controversial.
I don't know about that statement right there.
Pause.
I'm going to leave that one alone. Yo, well, in that case, y'all want to go straight to some hot topics?
Let's do it, man.
Sure, why
Straight to
not?
hot topic. So the funniest thing happened in Hawaii this weekend. Anybody, did y'all hear about that?
No.
False alarm.
The false alarm. Did you hear about that?
Oh, I did.
yeah.
And
Street
Stephen
highways.
Colbert had a hilarious
False
bit on that.
alarm.
It was an
Did we
emergency.
find out who that person was that pulled
No,
the false
it was
alarm?
a custodian.
It was a
or
regular
something.
employee, not a
Right.
custodian. It was a,
Somebody
it,
was asleep.
It wasn't a custodian. It was a they.
Oh, this is good.
The,
this is really good.
The person who did it worked in operations. They said that they have a drop-down menu, right? And in the menu, it has the actual alert, and then it has test alert. They're supposed to choose test alert, and they just sent the regular alert, which was what threw everybody off.
But what happened was, and it was an emergency missile
They
alert.
said a drop-down menu. They said, what we doing with our alerts and stuff?
Well,
A little more sophisticated than that, right?
the funny thing about that whole situation was there were several celebrities in Hawaii this weekend, and they were stuck in basements. Our girl Diana Ross was there, and she thought she was going to die. She was calling all 9, 10 of her kids, you know.
She got
And,
10 kids?
I don't know exactly who she got, but
She only got like 5.
Yeah.
she has a lot. But they're great kids. Magic Johnson was there.
You want to know because they all look totally different.
Right.
Go ahead.
No, they look alike, except the
I
one.
think it's in the eyes.
Evan and what's her name?
Only one that don't look
Tracy
alike is Berry
don't look
Gordy's
like-
daughter, because she's
I'm
the
saying,
only
they look
black
totally
one.
different.
I
Okay.
think it's in the eyes.
She's the only black one.
Even the son and Tracy look.
They look alike.
They do.
Yeah.
You don't think Berry
That's
Gordy
it.
daughter don't want to look different? She's cute.
Right.
But anyway,
Those ones,
Donna
they both
Ross.
got bug eyes. though,
Donna
right?
Ross was there.
Yeah. Magic
So my
Johnson was
question to y'all in Hot Topics: if we get an alarm to say a missile is coming to DC and we about to get blow up, what would y'all do? You know,
That's a
Most
great
most
question.
black people. I'm not going to work tomorrow.
you be dead.
Exactly.
Oh, you talking about the next day after it was over because you was traumatized?
no,
No, they say it's coming tonight.
They say it's coming tonight. Oh,
I
I'm
didn't
not
make it
going
because
to
you know the
work.
bomb was coming, so
That
that's
is
why I
a-
didn't make it to work.
You know, I know that you guys are making light of the situation, but that's a very
No, it
real.
was
If it was coming to DC, I'm going to Maryland.
like,
Is that
Night
not
pastor.
good?
I'm going to Virginia.
so
I mean,
one of
Get
the
on
He wasn't
outskirts of
ready.
get on the outskirts of that
Nah,
thing.
you guys are hilarious.
He
but
wasn't ready. The
it's
missile
so-
was coming.
What
it's
can
so
you do?
Ironic that
I don't have a bomb shelter. Go ahead.
it's ironic that you would bring that up because one of the policies and programs we're looking to reinstate was an emergency management program. I actually was trained as a first responder through a program called Team DC right after 9/11 happened. And that program has since been canceled, and we're working to get that program reinstated.
Wow.
To really go into businesses, communities, churches, you name it, and prepare people on how to respond for natural and man-made disasters.
And
And
shout
what-
out, we're gonna have George Pack on with us one day. He's gonna talk about emergency.
Okay, but
Shout
yeah,
out to George.
And just for point of order, I remember 9/11, right?
Yeah.
And we didn't really know what to do.
No.
So we might need an emergency.
Look, first of
We
all,
need to
Prepared
have
plan.
a system.
I was working. I was
FEMA
at
has a
work.
good strategy.
We need a prepared
FEMA-
plan,
FEMA,
right?
The Federal Emergency
DC?
Management Agency, and DC has it.
So what do they do after they go code orange or whatever it is, code the highest code, and they say it's imminent?
Like
Yeah,
the song
we
go,
definitely
run.
Need to brush up on those.
Run.
We need to,
That's all
we
they
need
say.
to brush up on what does that look like because it's been a very long time since we've had
When
that.
we actually had a great test with 9/11, right? you thought we were under attack. Like we're under attack. We got hit in 2 different places. Now
3.
DC. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? New York and DC. And you're like,
Well, we definitely.
Well,
wanna,
first of all, 2 in New York, right? Back to
then
back,
one
right?
in-
Nobody, because the first plane crash, they was like, okay, it was a mistake or whatever. They thought it was just an accident.
Right.
Then the
Yeah.
second plane crashed, and then
They're
they
like,
was like, oh,
that wasn't an
what's
accident.
going on?
but then
They
DC
came-
and then Pennsylvania, and they was like, we're under attack.
I didn't know about Pennsylvania. Wow, I remember that.
That
Wow.
was the one
The
that
fourth
crashed
plane.
in the field.
In the field, okay, not
middle of
into a
nowhere.
That's the
building.
one that
It
they
didn't
said they
hit
fought.
anything.
But the
Right.
fact that a 4th plane crashed,
Yeah.
that just took your mind all the way. Like, oh yeah, it's really going down.
Well, I want to get the hot topics in real quick so we can get our guests. So I'm going
These
to
were
move
hot.
on real quick.
That was hot. What we just did.
Straight off to so this one is kind of I'm sad that we went from something pretty important and nice to something really crazy. Nelly's rape update. Rape
Nelly?
charges. Nelly's
Didn't the
rape
charges
charges
get
update.
dropped?
They dropped
Charges
charges,
got dropped.
but they just released the
That is not. Don't say evidence.
not evidence. No,
Oh, okay,
no.
good, 'cause I was gonna
You know,
say that's not
like
what that
like
was.
like the you know how the report.
Report.
They
Okay.
released the reports. Is that
Well,
what they did?
she wouldn't. The girl wouldn't cooperate with the police, so now they
dropped
dropped
See,
the thing.
what I have
But he
is-
said he never did anyway. He said it was consensual anyway.
He's always claimed consensual. What I have a problem with is always images of men, black men in handcuffs, and they call it the perp walk, and still to this
Yep.
day, it's effective with tarnishing someone's image
Exactly.
before there's ever even an opportunity.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Because when's the last time we seen a white man do the perp walk? Like a white
the
celebrity.
guy that took the Burger King after he bombed the church.
But that wasn't a perp walk. They
Oh,
gave
he
him.
was in handcuffs though.
Was he? I thought they nicely walked him
He
in the
was in
car and
handcuffs.
gave him the little
So
guy
I'm
was
saying,
hungry.
And
we
they
haven't
took
even
him-
seen that, have we?
And they took him to Burger. He took him to get a nice meal because he was hungry. But you
Wow,
never see
man.
that with an African American.
That's cold-blooded.
But
He's not
legitimately,
making out of there.
No, I
Nelly
think
was
it.
wrongfully perpetrated in an image that was not of his.
That was wrong. That was wrong, man.
Especially in a sense where it's not like he was found guilty of a crime. These are
No.
allegations that were made, and now allegations should be taken
That
seriously.
he had to pay for it. He should have paid a lawyer and like you said, and the
Absolutely.
public pictures. And then you're gonna not cooperate. I think that we haven't spoken about that. We
well,
should
I'm
have.
trying to figure out the whole.
That
As a
happens all the
woman,
time to us.
Allegations should be absolutely taken seriously, but it's also a delicate situation of how you perpetrate
Right.
a person that is innocent until they are found guilty.
If you're ever arrested, and this is just anybody, it doesn't matter what the crime is. People already think that you did it.
You did something. The black
well,
man, they
now
do.
with social media, especially if you show up on social media in handcuffs, and I think our social media
That's what he's saying. But
platforms
black
have a
people,
responsibility.
But
as a
it's
black,
always been
as a
that
black
way
man,
before
if you
social
in
media.
handcuffs, they assume you did something to deserve it. Let me ask you a question, though, Sharice. Where I thought you was going to go and use the word delicate, and that is, what do you think should happen to women who do that?
George.
Because there's always a
to women
sensitive
who
issue
make
about
false
about
women who make false claims about rape.
or say you know my father beat me up and he didn't because you're mad, vindictive. You know what I'm saying?
There
False
should
allegation.
definitely be, if you have made an allegation that has proven to be false, there should absolutely be a penalty.
You should at least go to jail for 1 year.
I don't know what
Well,
the
I mean,
penalty
90
is.
days
I will
is
leave
enough.
That,
90
I will,
days.
That'll keep
I
them in
would
line,
like
I
some,
think.
as I have an attorney online, Toya Carmichael leads the Bar Association here. I would like for you guys to chime in on that one because those allegations have a very negative impact on so many women who have very real situations.
allegations.
Very real,
Absolutely.
Right. It's kind of
not
it's kind of
just
sad
allegations, but cases where
because
they
I'm
have
sure
been
there was
treated
I'm sure there was
inappropriately.
times when Nelly probably did actually rape a girl. But I'm just saying.
But
And
it-
Those
then-
comments.
But
I'm just
yeah,
joking.
yeah. But I can't. You know what? We need to study. We need to study the cases because it's interesting to me how CPS, Child Protective Services, will go and press out a mother who was really trying to keep their child in line, and they did smack him upside the head, right? And they'll press her out and put her through the whole ringer, but then let a mother who's really abusing their child get away. And the same thing, you come and a regular guy get lied on, and you put him through the ringer.
Right.
Yeah.
Then the other dude, he keeps driving past the house, harass woman, and there's nothing we can do. I'm trying to figure out, we need to study these cases and figure out how they getting pressed out and they're not getting pressed out.
I just listen on a similar capacity. I was just talking. We just had a homicide in
wow.
DC,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was telling you about this earlier, Ron.
The young
Is that
kid,
the one,
the little young guy that got shot.
Was that the one on Minnesota?
Was it a girl or a guy?
It was a little
It was
young
a
guy,
14-year-old
14-year-old young boy.
man. Rest in peace to his young man and all of his family that have to mourn another young person who's gone too soon. But that there was at the same time, there's been an ongoing investigation about Baloo Senior High School. I don't know if you guys know, which is also a hot topic about them falsifying grades to graduate students who
They
were
one
not
of the schools.
qualified.
Yes.
Right? But here's
It's probably
the thing.
happening at every school.
Here's the
Go ahead.
thing.
I don't blame them.
Here's the thing.
Get them
DC
kids
Public
out.
Schools
That's right.
expedited an audit on specifically Baloo Senior High School with failing to audit DCP Public Schools
That's
on where
true.
else they've missed this type of work or not work happening in the school system. So you don't get to point the blame to say that it was the school versus not the entire system that's been broken, right?
Exactly.
Because they did
my
the same
point
thing
in
to PG
saying
County.
They
though.
did the same thing, but they did the whole
My
county.
point-
for
They did
PG
the whole
County.
county
and
for
saying
PG.
that, to your point of researching and finding those loopholes, is that can we expedite what's happening with the murders and what's happening with missing persons and what's happening with Child Protective Service and finding those loopholes as quickly
To get
as
that
we
stuff-
were able to expedite a report
And fix
on
that.
one school.
Right.
To get all these findings now, because it's halfway through the report. I said that was a fact. It's 1 month.
Lightning fast, right?
Now,
And
I said what? We've been trying to get a report for a year.
When
And it was around Christmas time too, right?
Yeah, it was in the beginning of December when the mayor issued the DCPS to run this audit on the school.
Right.
So
Wow.
don't run an audit on one school when when there needs to be an external audit on the entire public school system.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. Because it's going on in all kinds of schools. They said a lot of teachers. First of all, when you're teaching for 10, 15 years and you're a counselor for 10, 15 years, they're a team.
Right.
The administrators and the teachers are a team. And after 10, 15 years of seeing students come through at the same age, 14, 15, and they show certain behavior signs, you start knowing somebody who's, if you keep them back, you're just keeping a problem in the school.
Right.
The faster we get
Yeah,
them
get
through
them
this
kids
system.
out of there.
Hold
Get
on.
that little bad
but-
ass
but-
out.
But
My
years
point-
ago, implemented was No Child Left Behind, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
they
Well,
talking about food. They were talking about
but
Yo.
you, know,
they
you
was
start
not
you start
talking
pushing
about
them through the
that. Some
system,
schools
Right.
which is
pushing them
not
out.
which is
They
not
was
good.
they was trying to push them out of
It's
school.
not good.
But my
it's-
point is that
We're gonna
do
wrap
we
up
need
so
to
we can
find
see
out the
this.
challenges within our school system? Absolutely, because if we
Right.
don't find a challenge, we can't resolve any problem.
Yeah, I'm
That's
like,
true.
I need to equally have that same tenacity, that same energy, that same effort
Across
in
the board.
reports
Right.
when we're
Across
dealing
the
with homicides in the city that you want to refuse
Right.
to address.
I also feel
when
like-
we're dealing with Child Protective Services not doing their job the way they're supposed to
Right.
be doing.
I also
it,
feel like there needs to be like a community movement where communities start getting together and doing their own schools.
Wow.
It sounds like a big thing, but it's
no, those are happening.
We need to be
Those are
doing that.
happening.
Come on, who's gonna do that?
But it also needs to
I'm
be
gonna
that
do a
way
school.
about homicides too. When someone does, murder someone,
I keep getting reports that say the homicides, the violent crimes are low, and I'm thinking to myself,
Lower than what, right?
Lower than what? Lower than what? And what are the loopholes that we're looking at to find out why the acts are still happening?
Wow.
And one of the things that I'm supporting our council member on is legislation support more funding into the community to fund programs because we need a 24-hour
exactly
Wow.
because apparently though DC's strict ban on
including
guns.
transportation.
Yeah, DC's strict ban on guns hasn't worked, but they'll lock you up for a gun, right? If you have a gun, you can have your gun. You can have a license for a gun. If you're having,
and they still will lock you
they
up.
still will lock you up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's so dumb to me.
Right.
It's not stopping murder or anything.
Well,
You're not stopping
I was
illegal
talking
guns.
to a former
But-
commissioner, a current commissioner as well, is that they need to do the gun buyback program again. As much
For
as
sure.
they're saying that, we're not getting the real guns, you never know what type of hard times some criminal
Somebody
is.
might
That's
need
not
that
true.
money. You're
That's not
right.
true. You will get the guns. That you will save a lot of people with that.
That's the excuse that we keep getting.
But your answer is the real answer. I think it really comes back down to money in those communities.
Absolutely.
Those kids after school should be able to get into programs and be able
Right.
to do things. If those kids can't get into bands and they can't play sports, or
Exactly.
they can't do arts, or they can't get with have real technical equipment to get on computers,
Right.
if they can't do that stuff, they're going to be in the street. They said, what is it? My guy Stewart.
Yeah.
He was saying
Stewart
the
Anderson.
first 2 weeks of summer, the first 2 weeks kids out of school, they arrest
Nothing.
more kids
Yep.
in
And
that
you know
2 week
what?
period.
Really dope
And you
out.
know what?
But
Shout
here's
out
what
to
I
all
wanna
the
say.
wonderful band members, Blue.
Oh, yeah, they were
Blue
excellent
and
at the
Easton.
parade.
They were awesome.
They were amazing.
And I hate to say our next hot topic because now y'all done kept it all serious.
Oh, really? No, we gotta
And
go ahead.
We got, this is supposed to be the ratchet part of the show. And y'all didn't made it and spoiled my high. But anyway, okay. Now I feel really bad. So anyway,
Speaking of highs,
this right. Oh,
goes out to
shout out to what is it? Bud Baker's products.
Bud Baker's
Edibles?
product.
Edibles. She gave
Edibles.
us some samples. I know you might not want to try that, but
Man, how high will I get?
Right. Let's see. Let's take one to the show. Let me see if it can catch up with me before the show is out. Let me try one. You gonna try one with me?
You gonna throw up?
Y'all please try one right now on air. So we
That's
can
what I'm
watch
saying. I'm
it.
gonna try to see how high, if I really can get high. Mama, if you watch it, I don't do this normally, but
It's just for the show.
mamas and papas out there, it's just for the show.
Now, if we eating egg edibles, and these edibles, we need to
Right. Is this gonna mess with my cholesterol? You think?
Yes.
But why?
But let me get back to quick hot topics before, so we can move on, because we got a wonderful guest
Show
here
everybody what
today
it is.
from Swerve Magazine. We're
What
going to
is
talk
it?
about this. Oh, it looks good.
hold it up so everybody can see
It's
it.
a mint brownie.
A mint brownie.
Right here. Just hold up so everybody can see it right here. Right here.
It looks like a regular.
Like a little small
taste
brownie.
it?
That's all you need, huh? Is that little
I want to know you
dab.
supposed to eat the whole thing.
A little dab will do you. A little dab will
Oh,
do
you
you.
didn't tell me that.
Where that boy gonna be?
I'm in here nice.
You remember my noise when he came into the to the captain's living room? He went to the captain's house after he had ingested the drugs.
Oh yeah.
Will was trying to get him to give him a
He was
warrant.
drinking the water.
And he was like,
Oh my
"Woo,
God,
it's hot."
But hold up, it's really strong. Like I can feel it in my nose. I feel it.
In
it's,
your
it's
nose?
yes. It's like
That is
Yeah.
it's
You're
really
gonna be
weird.
back at that doctor
But
about this
it's-
cholesterol
right.
problem. You
But
gotta be
moving on real quick.
Let's go.
This weekend, of course, y'all don't watch the show, but y'all got to hear this because this is hilarious.
Okay.
Atlanta Housewives was on. Candy.
Oh, I did see that. on
Kim
social media.
Zodiac. Okay.
Kim Zolciak made an allocation that Candy ate the box. Asked to eat her box.
Oh, she put it
So,
out there.
She put it out there.
They keep coming up with stuff.
I'm like,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, everybody knows Candy is.
Yeah, bye.
You know, she
Oh God,
get
it
down.
bi
like that.
curious.
It worked already. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
it's really good.
Candy's bi curious. Yeah, I get that.
She's not
Because-
vicarious.
because-
She's bi. She's actually
Because
getting down with
they
the
said
get down.
something about her and her husband. It's like Candy.
And they
It's okay.
swingers. So what?
Exactly. So it's Candy. It's okay, Candy. We love you.
Well, Candy made a statement.
What Candy say?
She said, let me find it because you know.
Oh gosh, you can't read that statement
Where's
because that
that?
statement was.
Oh, here you go, right here. We can read this. The open bar.
Oh
She
my
said,
gosh.
"I'm sick of these." Well, I'm not gonna say the B word. 'Cause my
Why
mama
not?
listens. Okay,
Why
I'm
not?
sick of these
You just ate
bitches
it.
lying on me.
Yep.
And she said, "At Kim
Changing
Zolciak,
gears.
I have never wanted you or your box." She's talking to Kim.
Right.
She said, "And stop swearing on your kids while you're telling lies, lying ass bitch."
Mm-hmm.
Forgive me, Lord. Somebody's really reaching for a permanent peach here. This is my house. You're just a visitor. Kim came back and said to her, "Bitch, it was my house before it was yours, and if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't
She
have
built
a
the
house. Okay, I built the house that you're living on, bitch."
The Atlanta Housewife thing.
Yes, Kim said
But
that.
whole,
here's a reality about that, right? People are becoming more open about their sexuality.
heck yes.
People
Yeah,
are
it's
becoming.
definitely
And they
really-
should.
Did we have a council member who introduced a bill to legalize sex work?
Right.
So this is something that is.
Which is a great segment for our next guest that's coming on after
Hold
the
up.
break.
Hold up. What was it? A council member.
Our count David Grosso introduced a bill
Nice.
to the council to legalize
should.
sex workers. One of the claims of which, if you continuously have people in the system getting
Arrested for prostitution.
getting arrested for prosecutions, having a record,
It's
where
a
they
waste
can't
of energy.
secure, income, they can't secure a regular job, then that continues
Burden
to
in the
perpetuate
system.
the cycle.
It's burdening the system because they have to
It was
get
very,
assistance
very
and all that stuff.
controversial. I mean,
yeah,
I'm sure
and
you
not
can
only
chime
that,
in on what
you
your
wasting
thoughts are
police
about it.
resources out there trying to. It's like, man, leave that stuff alone.
And
Let
then
people
women
smoke
would say
weed.
everybody
Right.
their
Let people
choice.
pay for sex if they want to pay for
But
sex.
question
I mean,
of the day.
you're
Question of the
paying
day.
for it one way or
But
the
question
other.
of the day.
Yeah.
You guys know Candy. Do you guys think she really asked to eat the box?
Yes.
I think after a couple of drinks, they're in a good place. You know, we kicking with friends. You know, when you're feeling good about
I don't
somebody.
know. I wouldn't.
No,
I don't got
no,
candy.
when they
I don't
enemies, you
got
can't
candy.
see it. When
no.
you- when
No.
I
I
mean,
don't
I
got
went
candy.
to look at Kim's social
Yeah,
media,
I don't
and
look-
I was a little disturbed. It was just extra breasts. and-
First of all,
Kim is not attracted to me.
no, that's what I was about to
that's
say.
what I was gonna say.
That's what I'm
Even
trying to
if
say.
she
But hold on,
were-
but
Now,
Candy
see,
is different
Portia,
though.
Now, when Portia was alright, you know,
Yeah,
Portia,
yeah.
She admitted that she kissed Portia. We do know that, but
Yeah,
she said
exactly.
she
But
go
what
further.
I'm saying is that, but Candy's also been in Hollywood. She's been around a lot of people. When you
But Kim
Listen.
ain't the
I
one.
don't
I think
when
Kim
you,
is hot,
when you're in a
but you
good
know,
place with somebody, right? When you're in a good place with
when
somebody,
you 50 million,
because hold on,
when
because
you
guys
50
and girls,
million strong,
guys,
you ain't
guys
getting
and
that
women,
back.
guys and women who would not date each other, who may work with each other, if you at the right place on a trip with the job or something, and everybody's drinking and it's
Well,
a party,
I've heard a lot of that. When
it
comes to
happens.
political
You know what I'm saying?
campaigns.
You would do it under the right circumstances, but if we were sober,
I
if we
personally
went our regular
cannot
lives,
see it, but if that doesn't eliminate the possibility. I personally am going to
can't
say
you couldn't see kissing somebody
I'm
that
gonna
maybe
say-
in your sober mind
no,
you really wouldn't.
Candy did not attempt to.
I don't think not Kim.
Address Kim and that.
That's like
We're gonna
Okay.
we're gonna ask
That doesn't
Mr. We're gonna ask
eliminate
Mr.
the
Jamel over
possibility,
here that his
but I'm
opinion.
still
on
Oh
it.
saying
yeah,
no.
all I'm saying is that it doesn't shock me
Well, I think
if
I
she
was
did.
shocked.
If she did,
I think she did ask to eat the box. I'm sorry.
I don't think so.
I think she did
I
ask
can't
to eat the
believe
box.
we're having
Not Candy asking Kim.
You think Kim? Because Kim did date a woman for a while, right
she?
before she
I'm
married.
sure.
Right before she married.
I'm sure.
She was dating that DJ woman, the white. I forget her name.
First
that
of all,
DJ.
that's
she
another
did
that's
date,
another observation about the generation is that women are definitely feel freer to be both like with women or men and not have to declare being bisexual per se.
right.
Yeah, you don't really
Women are
have
like that.
to.
I mean,
There are a lot of
But
LGBT
see-
people.
but
so
see, you
is
know
it-
what?
so
It-
the
it's funny, though.
LGBTQ
the guys, we don't
community-
get that luxury.
I
No,
don't
guys
think
don't
that
ever
you
get that.
have
Long. If you ever even
Let
thought
me
about a
give you this
man,
perspective.
you're gay.
Yeah,
Let
that's
me
it, exactly.
give you this perspective, right? I went to my first Black Lives Matters meeting. Thank you, April Goggins, for the invitation. She's
You
one
what?
of the,
Black Lives Matter.
I
Okay.
went to a Black Lives Matters meeting, and I'm bringing this up to say that they didn't ask you how to, if you're a lesbian, a homosexual, straight. They asked, what are your pronouns? So what it is that it sensitizes you on a way to communicate with a different population, and that to me was my first time having an experience where women would have pronouns of he and him, or men would have pronouns of she and her.
Well,
What you
So
mean? What you
what
mean?
I'm saying
Clarify
is that what you just made a statement to say that women are the only ones who don't have to classify themselves as being a part of a certain
Right.
category, right? But that is what that statement is it's not true, because there are men who are part of the LGBTQ community who equally are identifying as pronouns versus a.
But all I'm saying is that
specific
that's in the vacuum.
Wow.
In general population.
no, it's becoming more and more conscious. Oh,
Well,
I
I understand that, and that's also
organized.
in geographic
They're
areas also.
organized, and
Here,
they're making
LA,
their
New
perspective
York,
known.
you're gonna get that kind of liberty and freedom. You go south and stuff,
Yeah,
you ain't
you're
get
not
that
gonna get
kind of
that.
freedom. It ain't.
you know what, you guys, we're gonna. This is a great segue to our next guest. Who you gonna have in your? You're gonna have in your lounge area in the in the lounge.
We got brother Jamel coming up.
Jamel Fletcher
He's
from
Welcome,
Swerve
Jamel.
Magazine,
The editor in chief,
Swerve.
Swerve Magazine.
Swerve Magazine.
Can't wait.
Is
Exciting interview. It's gonna be popping.
and he's gonna give us some. How can I say it? He's gonna explain the whole what's going on in the LGB. Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
T community.
T, everything
Yes,
community.
you can give us
Yeah,
that.
we-
Not
the
everything,
We
but
gonna
He give us the
into it.
breakdown,
We
he
gonna
give
get
us a
into it.
rundown.
and then he also gonna tell y'all how fine R. Kelly's ex-wife is in person.
Oh, man, please.
He's gonna break that down.
Bring that picture
Yo,
back
we'll be
up.
right back with the wonderful Jamel Fletcher from Swerve Magazine. He's gonna be in the Passage
Nice.
Lounge when we come
see
right
when we
back.
come back.
Give us a call at 202-656-1BAR.
Listen vision, listen vision, listen vision, listen vision. DC's #1 recording studio. Listen vision, listen vision, listen
Yo, welcome back to WLVS Radio. You're tuned into the open bar. Salute!
Salute.
Yo, how about that daggone edibles kicking in, dude? Fucking A, dude. Don't be joking.
Yo, I would love if he was really gone. I would love it.
Like last week, was
Like
that
gone,
week when,
yeah,
It
when
was like 2 weeks ago.
District I couldn't even do the show.
District Dabbers.
I couldn't do the
Shout
show.
out
I
to
had
District
leave.
Dabbers.
They,
He took a dab and
I
he
took
was
it down. I
out.
couldn't do it. They did that thing.
He was out for like 3 days because it was the week before your birthday.
It's the week before my birthday. I was in party mode. But I wanted to say...
No, you was in potty mode. You
Party
wasn't in
mode.
party mode.
Our drink today, of course, is no other than the classic gin and tonic made with our choice of Tanqueray gin, along with a splash of tonic and a little lime for your taste. Definitely a great, smooth gentleman's drink. Salute, salute. Dave is rocking our shirt, I think. Our shirt. The open bar logo is definitely a great, sexy thing. We look good in the club. We even got some ones that kind of like the sequence and all that. You know, y'all like. We'll hook you up.
Reflector, yeah.
Matter of fact, I'm thinking about, we might have some red ones.
Some
for,
red
for,
ones?
For the month of February coming up.
What is that for?
Valentine's Day.
Oh, my bad. Oh, so anyway, you order these shirts online.
The love
Then
month.
March, we get some green ones.
Some green ones for
St.
St. Patrick's. That'd be hot. But you
Oh, we
order
gotta
these
have some good drinks too.
for those days. Oh, I got you. But we're going to order these shirts online at openbartuesdays@gmail.com.
Yes.
So order these. They're $10. Part of the proceeds, because everybody's forgetting about Puerto Rico. They still need help. So part of these proceeds are going to Puerto Rico, to the Puerto Rico relief. So support the cause, be the boss. Yo, we have a hot person in the Pastors Lounge right now. What's
Yeah.
going on over there in the lounge?
Hey, well, I got Mr. Jamel Fletcher with me, and he's the, I believe, the senior editor, publisher of Swerve Magazine. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir.
Glad to have you here.
Thank you.
And he's an avid listener to our show, so he checks our show out. And so we actually, the way we got him on the show today was because we had a topic talking about Genuine.
Yes.
Yes.
And we were discussing, Genuine's getting really mistreated in social media and all of that because he rejected the kiss and all from
The sexual advances.
and so listening to the show, I think you heard the show, and he made a comment about us, and he said we needed some sensitivity training. We needed to be a little bit more informed, right?
Absolutely.
So you're gonna educate us today, right?
I can give you some highlights, some
Okay,
tidbits.
well, that's
Absolutely.
good. Well, I want to hear what's on your heart with that. But before you do that, tell us about what you do with Swerve Magazine. Introduce this to
Swerve
everybody.
Magazine is a national publication that celebrates the culture and community of Black LGBTQ people everywhere. We were launched in 2008, so we're coming up on our 10-year anniversary. Hallelujah, knock on all the wood.
Yeah.
And we're published on a bi-monthly basis. We're in 70 cities within 28 states. We are the leading publication for the category.
Okay.
For people living at the intersection of being black and same-gender loving.
Okay. All right. Now, do you all embrace the latest letter, LGBTQ?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
Well, there's several of them. There's Q,
There's more than
AI. There's several.
Oh, he really
identity
Slow
is
it down.
identity is being is evolving.
Expanding.
We're evolving. Absolutely,
And evolving.
absolutely.
Okay.
Because the young lady talked about the pronouns. And that's
What is
important.
what is the purpose of the identity?
Well, identity is different from behavior. So the fact that you are transgender, doesn't, how you feel about yourself, whether or not you feel yourself as a man or woman, doesn't identify what you do or who you have sex with or who you're attracted
true.
to. So that's why in queer circles, like the young lady had shared, people ask, what pronouns do you like to be referred as? So you don't assume based on a person's appearance.
That's right, Pastor.
Okay, so interesting. Just to be clear about that. So if you walked into like a general meeting like that, right, and there was a female there, she looks like a female, and you assume it's a female. You say in those situations, you still would ask. She may want to be referred to as.
Well, it's a little inconvenient, yes, but
Okay.
in queer circles, especially amongst the advocates, they ask people, when you introduce yourself, identify which pronouns you use. And I'll give you an example. So Big Frida, we've interviewed Big Frida. Big Frida goes by she.
Okay,
But when you see Big Frida, he looks like a man, in makeup or out of makeup.
but he goes by she.
But you ask him, and that's what he says he wants to be
That's what
referred
he-
to.
oh, okay.
She wants to be referred to.
She wants to be referred to as
As
she.
she, absolutely.
When you use that pronoun, she, even though she may look like a
Right.
regular
Out
guy.
of makeup, she may look like a dude, but
So
Which is
basically,
she.
it's a poor taste to assume. So you should never.
absolutely.
It's
absolutely.
not etiquette.
It's poor taste when you know,
It's
but I think at least you admitted that it's a little complicated.
It
it's
is
a little
complicated,
challenging
right? It is
to
complicated.
wrap your mind around it because
Can I-
if you come out of the straight roles all the time, seeing male and female, it's a little difficult to.
Right.
I get
And you
it.
never
Can I
know
tell
where
you a
someone
quick
is in
story?
their
It's
transition.
about etiquette. When
Can I
you're
tell you a quick
addressing
story?
people,
Yes.
So I went to this church one time, and you know how they do the altar call. PDO, I'm sure you're really familiar with that. Do the altar call. So at the
No,
altar
he's a
call-
pastor. He's just not familiar with
At the altar call, this transsexual got up to because you know he felt the spirit. You know they was singing. The choir was really good. And I'm just playing. So he got up, and the pastor said, "Young man, I'm going. God is going to help you or whatever, save you." Why would I felt uncomfortable? I was like, "Oh my God!" He called him a young man. You know how would you have
I
felt?
have a similar.
Hold on, so
situation.
give us a little more detail.
you gotta give us
He was a
detail.
guy. You could tell he was a guy.
The guy
dressed like a woman,
he was dressed like a woman, but you could tell it was a guy.
and they said young man.
So when he went up there, he felt the spirit.
Yeah.
The pastor called him a young man. I was like,
Well,
wow.
a lot of
Yeah,
times
before
you
you
can't
answer that-
change somebody how they feel on their opinion of how they feel about that person, no matter what they are.
Which is
give you a
Jamel's
better
point about our
example.
sensitivity,
But-
right?
I'll give you a better example. It definitely is about gender sensitivity. I had a young man who, is a young man that wears makeup. And he was a guest at a church and saw a book at the church book sale about having sex. And the person that invited them there said, yeah, sex is great when it's between a man and a woman.
Ooh.
And he was offended. He was offended and felt like that was a direct attack on his sexuality because he has a preference, even though he is a boy.
A preference for men. He prefers men.
So
men.
where does the LGBTQ community stand on community?
Well,
on
you
Christianity?
let people self-identify. But if I see
Yeah.
you in 9-inch heels, I'm thinking you might be want to call the she.
Oh,
If you're in women's
So some of
clothes-
it is
But there are
basic.
But
so
you
many
could add-
people
but the
out
safe
here
way
that
to
you
be
don't
is
know
just
their
use
preferences.
generalities,
They'll
use
take
they.
both men and women, which is why you have to be careful
Right.
because there are men that are sleeping with men that look like men, that act like men, and then there are and those are.
But whoever you sleep with doesn't determine what you are. And
well, if
how
you're
you
having,
Well, my-
if you're
my
a
job is
man
done.
having sex with a man,
You've been educated.
Yeah, he said he got you right now.
if you're a man having sex with a man, you don't have to identify with being homosexual, but you are homosexual.
Right.
Even
Yes.
I'm not
But-
going to say, hey, you're a homosexual, but I think that if you have both male and female partners as a male, and you are a male that has had sex with a man, I think you should communicate that with a woman's partner if you're going to choose both.
Now, should a woman do the same thing?
See, now, you said a whole lot, Sharice. You threw a lot of stuff into that little pot just now. Now hold on. The one issue you're dealing with is if you're same sex dealing with the same sex, that is the definition of homosexual, same sex, right?
Well-
Now, but if you're talking about the ethics of it, right? So if you sleep with both women and women, you should let the other know that you do go both ways. Is that what you're saying? Ethically.
I think
You said about men. Now, did you mean it about women?
I think it should go both ways. I do.
For both-
I
both?
think it should
Okay.
because I think there's a level of. I think especially.
What do you think about that, Jamel?
I think there's a level of transparency that should take
Well-
place. In
well-
Hold up,
relationships.
but
Hold on,
so
he got
most
something.
Hold on,
women would
Jamel's
say.
going to answer that for us
He
real quick.
wanna say-
Well, first of all,
said, learn
I don't
yourself
believe
first
in
and know
labels.
God first,
Okay.
and don't sleep with
Okay.
anybody.
So I'm not one for believing in labels. Labels are for soup cans and not for human beings. But
That's
since
right.
we want to categorize people,
We do have to
you know,
procreate. We do
because
that.
because sexual behavior is evolving and it's not
This is true.
It's not binary.
This is true.
And
He's
so,
bisexual, you're
but
right.
in our society, a man who has sex with men, even if they have sex with women, is considered gay, like you said before.
That's right.
Yeah.
And we consider them something else. We marginalize them and treat them differently. But a woman is always a woman, whether she has sex with women or not.
This is what I said earlier.
Wow.
This is what I said earlier. So you heard me make that statement, right?
Right.
I gotta
Somebody
ask you-
said, here's
so-
someone
let's-
said it's
let's-
hard for a man to come out because if he likes women too, then he's not homosexual, he's bisexual. That's why it's hard for men to come out.
Yeah, it's hard. Come
no,
on.
'cause-
No, he's not.
and most in society's eyes, he's considered as a homosexual, even though he likes
for
He's
most-
not, if he likes men and women, he's bisexual.
he's bisexual.
He-
but in general
that's-
population, we kind of consider it homosexual a lot of times in general population.
Yeah, especially with a lot of women.
Let me dig in. I'm gonna press
They look at
our
him
guest out a
as
little
gay
bit.
man.
So
Let me press our guest out a little bit. This
is
is a big question that I know you've been asked 1,000 times, and I should have prepped you that you were going to get this one. But just real quick, your top of the your heart answer. How do you fall on whether you choose to be your sexual preference. You choose to be gay, or you're born. Just
definitely.
born.
I think you're born with the interest and same. I think you're born with
So
your
it's not
sexual
just a choice.
behavior. Absolutely.
Do you think it can be both?
And I think you choose to act on it, and I think it's different in every person. It's like a bell curve. You got a few people at the extremes, but everyone falls somewhere in the middle. So I think more people are bisexual. It's just that society pushes them
Into
to
one or the other.
Absolutely.
Okay, I have a
personally
Based on the men,
have
I mean.
friends that
I
are
have a
both
simple. I have a theory though.
Okay.
I have a theory. So it's like this: if you are a feminine man, right, and there's a masculine woman, why can't y'all be together?
I've seen that.
And it's be accepted in society like as a regular couple.
The thing is, you can, but to his point, he said society won't allow you to be outside of the box. They force you to be this or that. So if you got a feminine man, they're gonna call you gay, and they're gonna say she's this, and then they're gonna let this feminine, a straight guy and a straight woman who are masculine and feminine out of the box. Just be normal. They won't let that be society.
I don't understand. I don't understand your premise, because first of all, because if you're an effeminate man, it doesn't mean that you're attracted to men. That doesn't mean that. That doesn't mean that. But if you're a feminine man and you are attracted to men, you're not attracted to a woman. Period. Masculine or not, that doesn't make sense.
I just want to say that I embrace
this is
She
true.
looks like a man.
No, he's saying, but you don't want a woman. He said you don't want women.
Men.
But you don't want a woman.
No, but if she looks like a man,
But you don't
not
want a
a man.
woman. But she's
Not
a
a man.
woman.
she's not a man. But only thing her makes her not a man is what she was born with.
She don't have to work
She's
in
not a
part.
man.
So I want to first
But
I want
She
to
can
first
get the
say
working parts.
I want to
No,
first
she
say
can't.
real
She
quick,
can get the working parts.
real
Totally
quick,
different,
guys.
totally
Sharice,
different.
Sharice have a statement.
I really
quick.
want to real quick just put a disclaimer out there, because I'm getting a lot of interesting comments to say that this conversation is for those of us who are wanting to learn how to engage in this community, to learn what that looks like and what that sounds like. Because I understand Yumika's point exactly is that if you're not, basically saying that if you're not in the lifestyle, you don't speak the language. You don't know the language. And I think
That's true.
that is such an important point to make, because I embrace people for whatever choice they decide to make and in whichever direction. But I think it's also a lot of our it's a point of our insensitivity of just not knowing. And I think that it's upon us to educate ourselves, to have conversations like these, to educate ourselves on how do we engage with this community. Right.
Well, one of the things I noticed about that, I'm a Christian pastor, of course, but I'm very liberal. I embrace the homosexual community, the gay lesbian community. I embrace them, and I've done videos and everything. I got a lot of support in that community that basically appreciate me for speaking out whenever there's a major issue. But I guess to Sharice's point,
He killed Kim Burrell, by the way. I just want.
yeah.
Well, we have a column in there that one of our pastors has a response to that. That
Okay.
knew her and everything. So it's
Very
a
nice.
faith-based issue
Okay,
anyway.
we're gonna skip
A
through
November,
these.
December issue anyway.
What were you saying to you?
To Sharice's point about like you said, the insensitivity is born out of
Ignorance.
not ignorance, right? But
It's
the
ignorance.
challenge is kind of something we were talking about before, and that is, but everybody won't take the hit. The bridge builders, like the people who can be the bridge for somebody who's staunch and really outside of it and can't really wrap their mind around it.
Yeah.
To somebody who has a certain sensitivity to the whole subject. Even if I'm not gay, I understand I can flow with this. The bridge builders don't really want to speak up as to say, open your mind. Let's
Let me give
talk
you this
about
analogy.
it. Just to have the conversation, it almost people start labeling you. They start, so I'm saying this is what I was talking about even with the black issues, that we need everybody, whatever your platform is, you have to take your equal hit for the whole, because some issues are bigger than you, your money, or your brand, So,
Yeah.
I know you want to protect your brand,
Right.
but when it comes down to human issues, I
Right.
feel like people we got to all do it so that everybody feels safe doing it. Like the women feel good coming out because other women are coming out.
Right.
You're You understand?
So Jamel,
the analogy. Go ahead, Ron.
No, actually, I wanted him to tell us more about Swerve Magazine. What is the tell us, like, when did y'all start first?
Well, we started in 2008 because.
Why did y'all start?
Because our stories were not really being told. So white mainstream gay publications really just ignore black same gender loving people, and black mainstream publications really just ignore black
same gender loving people.
Except I will say they've gotten better. Essence magazine has gotten a lot better, and Ebony has a little bit as well. But it's still very marginalized and sedentary and very stereotypical.
I was going to ask you two questions to that point. One, is it truly a big gulf between the white same gender loving community and the black same gender?
Absolutely, because
it's a big gulf, right?
Race is such an overwhelming segment of our lives. I mean, there's been studies. Black, gay, and lesbian people live with other black people. We commune with other black people. We're a part of the fabric of black communities. We're black,
right? And
being black in this community is a unique experience, no matter who you are.
Right.
It's the dominant element in your life.
Yeah, I talked to a gentleman who's gay, and he was telling me that within the homosexual community, same gender loving community, that they're not right. That everybody's not friends, and that there are a lot of divisions where people always kind of give this kind of blanket to that, like all homosexuals are unified on the same page and kind of together.
But you kind of get.
But do we have some statistics on? Do you have actual data on how many same gender or bisexual kind of trisexual people? Because I'm trying to learn can you give us some numbers of based on the U.S. population? Because I think this is very important to note.
1 in 10. 1 in 10. 1
out of every 10 people that we encounter is someone who is of a same. So this is why it's so important to have this conversation, because that is a large portion of a population of people that are out there. So 1 out of 10.
Jacob, help me with these numbers.
well, I'm just thinking.
It's 350 million people in the United States. 1 out of 10 would be what?
3.5.
Well,
no, more than that. 30.
Let me challenge that. But let me challenge that. But so that's not taking in consideration people's behavior. So
true, because you don't the statistics that can't give you the truth, right?
Right. So I had sex with a man once in my life. That means I'm what? And I'm married with children.
You're gay. Well, I mean, and most people are considered gay.
Okay, so here's another. I had something else I wanted to.
No, but that's the way society portrays you.
Oh no,
I'm not saying that.
So Dave, so this is for our listeners. Dave is speaking as the voice, the representative of the general population. Right. some of them.
But then also, what about people who've been molested? Enforced.
Well,
that's a different population. Those are not until they become.
Well, I'm saying based upon what Dave's point. Do you call that gay?
There's some people who feel that their sexual attraction to men has been informed or influenced by that. Yeah. I don't buy that. I don't buy that.
But let me drive home his point to behavior, because this was interesting to me. I was teaching music at a daycare probably 15 years ago, and it was a young lady who worked there. I started giving her a ride home from work. And so we got close in the sense of she just felt comfortable talking to me.
A ride home?
Yeah, ride home, yeah. Yeah. But this was the thing. It was so crazy. One day she just opens up to me and she tells me how she makes some money on the side. She works at this daycare, but she makes money on the side from this guy, a married man, who would come to her and she would put on a strap on and she would give it to him, right? But he had a wife and kids, right?
Shout out to Isa. You need to call in and tell your story.
I have so many of those stories, but that's a whole
do you? Oh, that's a whole nother. Okay, right.
Oh, you got a story too?
So I was making that point to show his point about behavior, because some guys in society, they don't identify as gay. They don't have. They've never.
Minimum. But we're just talking a minimum. So what we're looking at is the baseline, which means that could be, right? Which means that could be, there could be legitimately 5 out of 10 people. It could be 6 out of 10 people that have different behaviors. But we're just talking about a minimum.
Okay, so
sexuality is fluid. Sexuality is fluid.
It is fluid.
It's fluid. So how can you?
So the reason why it's considered not gay, I guess, for most people's. Is
gay an appropriate time? I have to ask that question
with the opposite sex.
So that means even what if a transsexual would do the same thing?
The giver or the receiver, you're still having sex with the opposite sex.
But my question is gay an appropriate term to use?
Well, many in the black community use same gender loving, but I mean
But
that's-
yeah. All right.
But
So
is that inappropriate? Is it offensive? I'm asking the question. It's not offensive. Okay.
Okay, so here's a good question, right? Because I agree with Jacob said I agree that the sex you have doesn't decide what you are, right? So
It doesn't.
what would make you? What I mean, see, this is the thing because so think about this. I don't have a good scenario, but if you are not attracted to, if I'm a guy, I'm not attracted to women. I'm attracted to men. Is that the definition of gay, or is the fact I like to have sex with men, but I'm attracted to?
Well, that goes back to how you identify yourself.
So it really is a lot of it is very subjective and personal.
It's a false narrative. I mean, the
It's
label itself
self-identified.
is not real. I mean, it's not authentic. It's like race. Race is a false narrative.
Okay.
It's something we constructed. We put labels on it, and that's what sexuality. What we try to do with sexuality.
You know what? That point right there, what he just now said, is the point. I feel like the community does not raise and put on the table and start explain it to nauseum, because I feel like if you start there, we don't have to have all of the BS conversations leading up. You follow what I'm saying? And maybe some people need baby steps, but I just feel like
No, but you gotta understand something though.
I don't hear that said
You're
at
not
all.
gonna change most people's mind, okay? In society.
But that not being the goal. What I'm saying is that to educate, to pass information, that what he just said, I feel like it should be unpacked, combed through
Who
on
has
a
to
major
comb it
level.
through, though?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But
everybody's not even.
Yeah, maybe
thinking
they
about
haven't
it.
combed it through in their own lives. yet.
No. Listen. Even people who hate gay people and feel like they're going to hell will still listen to an argument. People are intellectual. Intellectuals are going to
Let me
sit and
give you
listen
this
to.
synopsis. Let me give you this exact same scenario, right? There are Caucasian white people in this world that will not want to hear about a black argument, about a black struggle, equally as there are people who are of non-same gender loving who will never want to hear about what it means to be a person who is interested of the same sex.
Right,
I mean,
but I'm not talking about. But those are minority. That's on the fringe. That's the.
Is it really the
those are
minority, though?
I think that's the majority.
I don't know if it's the majority, but I won't go far and say the minority.
Listen. It's not the majority. Man, they said right now in the next.
Where are you getting these numbers?
In the next 10
Yeah,
years.
where you getting your numbers from?
What number? What numbers? I ain't quoting any numbers. I'm
because
giving you
you're
I'm giving you stuff that's self-evident. You can go check this out if you want to. In the next 15 years.
Do you know all the people that are following Donald Trump to make America great again? They're telling us to get over it, pull yourself up by the bootstrap.
They're not the majority of America, though.
But he won the presidential election.
They're more than just black people. They're not more than colored people in this country. As a matter of fact,
but my point to say is that as strongly as there are people who will never want to learn about African American history to understand the African American struggle.
We're not talking to them, though.
But
we
are
talking to them.
We are talking to them.
Because they're part of
we
society
are talking
as
to
well.
them.
Everybody's part of society.
And that's the whole point why you made Swerve Magazine, right?
And then you're taking the focus of my point away. I'm not trying to go on a crusade to convince everybody to like homosexuality.
It's not about who likes it or not.
No, I'm saying that's not my point.
You're right.
I'm not trying to convince everybody to love homosexuality.
That's not your
So
point.
you know tomorrow your words will be changed on social media.
But all I'm saying.
We got it on video.
Right, we got it on video. So
well, I think people are. I think more and more people are having discussions around sexual behavior, whether it is in private. So when you say, that's something that people are not talking about, I think that's just not the case.
Right.
People are having those conversations very early. Children are coming out earlier. Transgender children in elementary schools are being identified. So we're having these discussions more so than ever.
This is what I'm saying, that a lot of children are like parents who are in Christian homes and their children are growing up, and their children say, I'm gay, and they are forced to deal with. They're forced to have a conversation. They might not want to have it.
There's even,
and that's just like even with Sharice talking about the African thing.
Right.
I'm sure there's some white girl who's bringing a
black.
Italian or a black brother home, and a person like
Well, you
that.
know, and
Italians
then-
are considered white.
And
so.
then there's even
I don't know about
there's
that.
even parents
Yeah, they
now who's
are.
accepting so well that they're not putting gender, like what's the actress who's raising her kids gender
Neutral,
open,
right?
gender neutral.
Well, and you had mentioned Drea Keller. We actually did an interview with her because their daughter is considering transitioning, and it was a very powerful interview. And she talked about how she educated herself.
Okay, so Andrea
and how
Kelly-
they changed things,
Andrea-
like
yeah.
took
And
away
R. Kelly
the
do it.
girls' clothing, got her boys' clothing. And to call her by the male pronouns and everything, and that happened like in junior high school. So that's happening everywhere. Our people are
Cher's
having
daughter
that
did the same
conversation
thing.
earlier in life. Absolutely.
I'm definitely at 100% agreement that people are having the conversation, and we should have the conversation, as uncomfortable as it is sometimes to work through the pronouns, to work through the levels of sexuality, to work through the types of
But what's the discomfort? I don't get the discomfort. I
Well,
don't think
because-
we're
shouldn't be
uncomfortable
discomfort.
about
when
it.
I say discomfort, because when I say discomfort for some people, it's trying to embrace something beyond their normal scope of learning, right? So I think in any learning area where there's a learning curve, there's some discomfort, right? Because you're now having to learn something outside of, especially for those like myself that are very open to this community of people, that are very open to them communicating to me what their concerns are. Because I have a large population, working with Check-It Enterprises as a
I've worked with them, with Ramo, absolutely.
with Ron Moulton, right?
Mo,
So
yeah.
so these are people who I'm very comfortable with and very familiar with, and want to be open to them about this topic. And so the discomfort is in me having to make sure that I'm not saying the wrong thing, or if I'm not identifying them incorrectly, or if I'm not
Like you
told us, but the issue is to ask them, let them self-identify, and if you respect their wishes, then you can go from there.
But that's another reason why I'm consistently checking myself of how I approach and respond, because it's something that you have to remember to do. It's not a natural thing, if you will.
But younger folks really have a different viewpoint on the whole sexual identity and gender thing. Like my niece, she doesn't identify, with the whole thing around who she's with, whether or not it's a man or a woman, even though she's in a relationship with a man. They treat that totally different.
So can you give me an example? You're saying that younger generations do not identify with homosexuality or heterosexual
they don't see the barriers
relationship.
and don't see the labels.
So they don't see
for the most part. There's still some of
heterosexual
that.
versus homosexual relationships.
That's right. They see, I like you, you like me,
oh,
you
wow.
like,
And that's it.
right.
So
That's-
They
They're
like
more
the whole
open-minded.
Willow
So the
Smith
label,
and-
the
That's
label
more
is
open-minded.
everybody else. Right?
That's grandma and them have
They're
a problem.
open-minded. Well,
That's grandma and them.
well, the
have
label is
problems,
what society tries to push.
That's what I'm saying. So the label is for everybody else,
and
not
also-
for
And also, I'm gonna say this: like my daughter, she's 24.
six,
She's 24.
5, 8,
Yeah.
30.
20, no,
That's
she's gonna turn 26, right? She's gonna turn 26,
24
and
to 26. How old is she, Pastor?
Get it together.
she's 25, get ready to turn 26 in 3 days. In 3 days, right?
I thought she was
so,
23.
but the thing about it, the strange thing about
No, she was 19. Now.
Let us get this story. Go ahead.
she's born in '93. Just the interesting thing about her is that she grew up. She had gay friends growing up and so forth, and she does not have any struggle. Like she's not struggling. She's straight. She loves guys, right? But she has no. She is like we grew up in a traditional church home and stuff like that. My daughter didn't. I was a little bit different, and me and her mother weren't together. So different things were different. But she has no struggles. And I'm talking about her generation. I don't think they struggle quite as much as Dave say we did. When we were in high school, we might have like one gay guy like in school, right?
And you knew he was gay.
And you knew he was gay, right?
Well, he might have been the only open one.
Well, this is true.
Thank you,
Well,
thank
this
you,
is
thank
this
you.
is true.
And he may have been friends with a lot of your friends.
Right.
Well, this is true.
Jamel,
So you don't know what they did when you left
No,
the
this
house.
is true.
I'm just saying.
Jamel,
But nowadays you have a whole lot more.
we kind of almost run out of time.
Hold on,
Before
I gotta
we
give-
go, I want you to tell everybody where they can get the magazine from. how they get
I
from-
mean, you can go to swervemagazine.com, SWERVmagazine.com, and we have a list of the distribution points. We're really at points of interest in our community-based organizations, nightclubs, restaurants like Busboys and Poets has us.
It's a free magazine?
It's free. It's free.
wow.
If you
Oh,
want a
that's wonderful.
subscription, then if you want a subscription, we can mail it to your house if you're at a location. So
Okay,
yeah.
I got
But I
a
did
couple
want to say
of-
something about the Genuine situation before y'all leave.
Okay,
Oh, yeah,
I
tell
got.
me.
a couple-
First of all, my
I got
thing
a
about
couple of-
Genuine situation is
Let him hear his
Oh.
story. We heard
she
yours
is
last
not
week.
cute.
Not at all.
So I can understand.
Cute is
that.
relative.
All right, so
I mean,
okay, hold on.
and
Listen.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Angela,
In
before
my
you leave-
eyes, she was
Before
not
you
cute.
leave, we want to know: do you think Candy tried to eat the box? We want to know.
Okay, all right. So this is rapid fire. We're gonna go through a couple things real fast, real quick. Your thoughts on the Genuine piece?
Well, Genuine, I didn't think his work, his I didn't think his actions were insensitive. It didn't indicate that he was transphobic to me. But he also did need to be enlightened. When he made the statement that he would not date a woman that was transgender, my thoughts were, you haven't met the right one. And if you're dating someone, if you're dating a woman that you know,
Or that
you're
you
dating
don't
them
know,
for a period of
maybe you
time
don't
and
know.
you don't know, and she decides to then disclose to you, then what do? I mean,
Yeah.
But
so I just think he may not have dated the
what
right
you
one.
just said,
So
though.
should they ask for birth certificates now?
I wouldn't say
people ask
she's a
for?
woman. She's a woman.
she's a woman.
She's just sharing.
So one
If
quick
she was
question.
You know, you
born
can get that
a
changed
man,
too.
But she's a woman.
Okay, here's-
She's
told
not a
you.
woman. She
But-
wasn't born a woman.
But I have another issue around that though, and there was
Can't that get changed?
there was some insensitive things that were said about it. And the reason I wanted to bring that up, just to get on a serious note, is that we have had increased forms of violence taken on transgender in the transgender community, specifically around black transgender people.
Right.
Yeah,
And
I
the
worked on
issue is that
legislation
we
for that.
as black people are not up in rage about it. And that's really
The
sort
problem.
of the problem.
Yeah, I worked
because
on legislation
nobody
for
else cares
street
about it. And
harassment.
all the murders that happen with
You don't hear
transgender
anything
women
about
are
it.
black, and we're not talking about
We
it.
ain't talking
That's
about
And
it.
so when you make statements that dehumanize a transgender person, you make it easy to commit forms
Easier
of
for
violence.
people to
against
be
them.
violent.
My thing is
Can I
this.
get you to give some? Can I give you some good juice that you gave me about the woman that accused Eddie Murphy?
Oh,
yeah.
so well, there's been a rumor for years about
Right, the
Eddie Murphy. That
transsexual
Eddie
that
Murphy
was
likes to
Eddie
trans.
Murphy.
Actually, when I saw Nicole Murphy, I said, you know. But
And she
anyway.
kind of looked like it.
Hold
though.
on.
She
Hold on,
used
y'all.
to,
Y'all
but
gotta
anyway.
hear- y'all gotta hear this story.
I'm not gonna
Hold
get into
on.
that, but he did. You know, remember he was found with a transgender woman in a car and all that, and then
Said
you
he was
know,
giving her
like
a ride.
right, like a week before that she was supposed to do an interview with Entertainment Tonight, she was found dead trying to break into her own apartment.
that. Wow.
Did you remember that? No one talks about that incident, but that's just a whole other thing.
Wow.
Ron just likes juicy.
Okay.
But I'm just saying that Teddy Pendergrass was known to be.
He wasn't known. He just
Well,
got
well, I don't know if
he
you
was
know,
known to be caught.
but you know the real story around that is that was around he was having an affair with Julius Erving's wife, and she was in the car with the transgender woman who was legendary. She got out. They got Julius's wife out of the car, and she just sat in the passenger seat. That's been the rumor in Philly.
You see how they turned that around?
They flipped that whole.
Right. So that was supposed to be not true.
And Wendy Williams ain't helped because she really pushed that. But I ain't gonna get into that.
All right. So
Wendy's got her own issues.
you
But
tell me.
what is that? I'm curious. I've never really asked that question. What is? You said she has her own issues. Is Wendy
Well, we
really
ain't got
Wendy?
time to get into it. Unfortunately, we only got a
Well,
minute
Wendy's
left
like
of
the
show.
ultimate, for the lack of a better word, fag hag. You know, I mean, all the
Is
staff
she a woman?
Yeah, she's a woman.
She was born a woman.
Yeah, she definitely was born a woman.
had
yeah.
a
Okay, I never asked.
We
that
don't
question.
know that. Kim just
had
had
a
a baby.
You oughta buy
and
her
she didn't get
book.
pregnant.
Listen, all right. So hold on, really quickly, rapid fire. We moving quick.
Okay,
I see that you have Bishop Yvette
Oh, yes.
Flunder on the cover of the latest issue of Swerve.
But that's our faith-based issue. We,
Is
you
that
know,
faith-based issue?
Yeah, we did it.
She's a pastor in California, right?
And she sung that song, Thank You.
that's right. That's
I
right.
love her. Oh, my
yeah.
God.
One of the Hawkins.
A pretty large congregation, right? DC recently, the last couple of years, has opened a couple of churches pastored by two men.
Right,
pastoring
right.
the church.
First man. And,
First man,
right.
yeah. So what have your thoughts about that?
Well, I think that's as a result of being
And do you prefer to attend
alienated.
that kind of church or a
Well, I'm not. I grew up Muslim, so.
Okay.
But I think what's happening is that people, gay and lesbian people, are sitting in churches and they don't feel affirmed in, and so they decide to start their own. And I think that's a good thing.
to finally create a community for
Right,
yourself?
right.
where you
Instead
can-
of coming to a place that wants to call you names like, Bishop
Absolutely.
Owens got into the sissy thing and all that,
Yeah.
then start your own, and that's what they're doing.
Bishop Owens, that's a different Owens, not this Owens. Exactly. Make sure it was clear about that. That's
You're only
interesting-
Pastor Owens, not Bishop.
Absolutely.
Oh, Pastor Owens, I'm sorry.
I'm Pastor Owens, yeah,
Oh,
but
okay.
that's Bishop
You know
Owens.
what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I do know, exactly, yeah.
Wow.
And then finally, real quick, it's interesting about you grew up Muslim.
Interesting.
My folks from the nation, right.
All right, so how do you
Well,
identify?
all
Identify.
religions, if you look
Good
at
one.
them, all the religions, there's and there's an article
Oh, right.
about that, about the true about the true feelings around Islam and homosexuality.
This faith-based issue gets into all
Right,
that,
it gets into all that because all the faiths, have it's an evolution where people have adapted this anti-homosexual thing. It's not really based on doctrine. It's based on rules and laws
and emotional
and control.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Right, and culture. Yeah.
Wow.
Any more questions?
Oh, thank you. I like that.
Unfortunately, we run out of time. Thank you so much.
My
Jamel.
pleasure.
Thank you very
Shout out
much.
to Gigi. Listen to the
You guys
show.
are hilarious. I
Yeah, you
enjoyed
had
being with
people
you.
on here. She said, one of our listeners, she said, Wendy is a man, by the way. And she said, once you are a woman, you're always a man. And then she also wanted to know if all the men in here are gay.
Well, I think I'm the only openly same gender loving person, but that's a
Oh, that's a quick question right here. I gotta ask him about that.
Person. I appreciate
All right,
you. for that.
is the community really frustrated with people who like to stay private or in the closet? They want to be gay, but they don't want people to know.
Well, there's still such a stigma, especially in black circles.
Especially
but people don't come out. A lot of people don't come out.
But is
They
the
don't come out
community
at
upset about
work. No, I mean that varies. That varies. Some people,
Don't like that.
They choose to be out. You can't force people to be something that they're not. I don't believe in it.
Well, I guess I'm trying to take the temperature as far as is the community in general. Do they not like that when you don't come out openly and say?
I think people are accepting of people where they are.
Okay.
I think that.
All right.
Unless they're like a politician or a lawmaker, and I've seen those type of people be outed right there, like Mr. Henry's and all that.
Right.
So
Yeah. Politicians.
I see you with the Eagles sweatshirt on. That's who you rooting for this weekend?
EAGLES Eagles, go Eagles! I'll see you with the Lombardi Trophy.
The ringless people. The ringless.
That changes in February.
So Jamel, if you can get R. Kelly's ex-wife to come on our show, because you got connected, I can prove to them how
I
beautiful
can
that
reach
woman
out
is.
to her people.
How beautiful that woman is in person.
I've never met her.
You'd be more than obliged.
We're not having that conversation.
So in
in
other
front of her
words, the
face.
answer is no. And to you, hell no.
You might have to pay her an honorarium.
Yo, we had a great show. Thank you so much for coming.
Jamel Fletcher from Swear
Yo,
Magazine. Thank you
hanging
for
in the
coming, man. We
lounge.
really appreciate you.
We didn't get to our love, sex, relationship. You know they be looking for that.
Yeah, I knew
That was love, sex, and relationships.
Yeah, that was.
It was.
Exactly.
Sharice, you did your thing. You looking good.
Thank you very
You
much.
looking good.
Beautiful as ever.
Yo,
I
put your
appreciate
drinks
that.
in the air. Thank you so much for listening. We see you next Tuesday. Salute.
Salute.